Staff Sergeant Darren Simpson never expected to become king of an alien civilization when his troop transport malfunctioned during a routine quantum jump. Now, as his escape pod plummets through the lavender atmosphere of an uncharted world, warning klaxons blare while the pod's hull temperature climbs past critical levels. The quantum drive explosion scattered the other pods across the planet's upper atmosphere. Simpson watches through the viewport as they burn up like meteors, taking his entire squad with them. His own pod's emergency systems engage, deploying stabilizers that slow his descent just enough to survive impact. He crashes in the middle of a battlefield. Two armies of towering, feline-like humanoids clash with energy weapons and ceremonial blades. The 7-foot-tall warriors pause their combat as Simpson's pod carves a smoking trench through their ranks. The Marine stumbles out, assault rifle raised, scanning for threats through his cracked visor. A group of civilians cowers behind ancient stone ruins as Modernist faction troops advance on their position. Simpson's training kicks in. He sprints forward, laying down suppressing fire that forces the attackers to take cover. The civilians stare in awe as the human warrior organizes their defenders into fire teams, directing them to establish overlapping fields of fire. Ren, the traditionalist warrior priest, watches from a nearby ridge. His fur bristles with recognition as he recites the prophecy passed down through generations. From beyond the stars shall fall a warrior small in stature but mighty in spirit, bearing strange weapons and stranger wisdom. Through their guidance shall our people unite or perish. The Modernist forces launch a coordinated assault, determined to eliminate this threat to their power. Simpson's combat experience proves decisive. He positions squads to create kill zones, teaches basic small unit tactics, and leads from the front. The attackers break against the organized defense. In the aftermath, Ren approaches and kneels before Simpson. The prophecy speaks true. You are the one foretold to save our people. Other traditionalist Cations follow suit, bowing to their newfound king despite his protests. Simpson activates his emergency beacon, hopping for rescue. The quantum drive malfunction has created a temporal anomaly. No signal will reach Earth. As the traditionalists escort him to their temple fortress, he plays along while plotting his escape. But the prophecy holds darker truths. The price of uniting the Cation people will demand more than this reluctant human king realizes. Night falls over the alien world as Simpson studies the strange constellations. He doesn't want a crown or a prophecy. He just wants to go home. But fate and physics have conspired to strand him here, where an ancient prediction is now unfolding with devastating precision. Simpson's study of the alien constellations ended abruptly as Ren approached, gesturing for him to follow. There is something you must see, Sky King. The warrior priest led him through winding corridors deep beneath the temple fortress. Ancient glowstones cast blue-green light across walls inscribed with flowing Cation script. They descended multiple levels before emerging into a vast chamber filled with crystalline pods and humming machinery. A female Cation stood adjusting controls on one of the devices. Her silver-streaked fur and traditional healer's robes marked her as someone of importance. She turned at their approach, amber eyes widening. "This is Myra, keeper of the ancient ways of healing," Ren said. "She maintains what remains of our medical technology. Technology you possess but don't use." Simpson studied the sophisticated equipment. Why? Myra's claws clicked against a crystal interface. Because some would corrupt our ancestors' gifts. She activated a pod, revealing its interior a matrix of bioreactive crystals and neural interfaces. These chambers were designed to work in harmony with our bodies, accelerating natural healing. But Supreme Commander Thax seeks to twist them into weapons. A commotion at the chamber entrance interrupted her explanation. Two warriors carried in a third Cation wearing Modernist faction armor. Blood matted his chest fur where an energy blast had struck. "Captain Krell," Ren growled, We found him among the wounded. Several warriors raised their weapons, but Simpson stepped between them and the injured Modernist. Stand down. On Earth, we treat all casualties friend or foe. While Myra worked to stabilize Krell, Simpson examined the tactical computer retrieved from the captain's armor. His blood ran cold as he decoded the data. Detailed schematics showed how Thax's scientists had reversed the healing technology's principles, creating a weapon that triggered rapid cellular breakdown. 3 planetary cycles, Simpson read aloud. That's how long before they use this on civilian populations. Myra's hands stilled on the medical controls. Then we have no choice. You must help us stop them. The decision crystallized in Simpson's mind. His escape plans would have to wait. He turned to Wren. Gather your warriors. We need to reorganize your defenses before an explosion rocked the chamber. Alarm crystals pulsed red as Modernist infiltrators breached the lower levels. Simpson grabbed his rifle, leading a group of warriors to cut off the intruders' advance. They caught the enemy team in a narrow corridor, forcing them back with coordinated fire. One infiltrator raised a silver device. Green energy washed over a defending warrior. Simpson watched in horror as the Caitian's fur grayed and skin withered, aging decades in seconds before crumbling to dust. Fall back, defensive positions. Simpson directed the retreat, his mind racing. They needed a way to counter that weapon before Thax deployed it on a massive scale. Hours later, Simpson stood with Myra in her research laboratory, examining data crystals containing the original healing chamber specifications. There's something here, Myra said, highlighting a section of ancient text. The prophecy speaks of the Sky King's arrival being tied to the Great Restoration. These passages suggest our ancestors knew this conflict would come. Simpson studied the complex diagrams. How does a temporal quantum drive malfunction connect to your people's ancient technology? Before Myra could answer, a message crystal chimed. Intercepted communications revealed Thax had accelerated his timeline. The weapon would be deployed within days. Outside the lab, warriors prepared for war. Simpson had transformed their scattered bands into organized units, but time grew short. The answers they needed lay somewhere in the intersection of Earth military technology, Caitian healing arts, and a prophecy whose full meaning remained elusive. Simpson traced his fingers across the ancient diagrams displayed on Myra's crystal interface. These cellular patterns, they're fundamentally different from human biology. He pulled up his sleeve, exposing a small cut he'd received during the infiltrator fight. Test my blood against the healing chamber's baseline. Myra's claws danced across the controls. The chamber hummed, scanning Simpson's wound. Data crystals flickered as results populated the display. Her amber eyes widened. Extraordinary. The resonance patterns don't align. Your cells ignore the frequencies that trigger accelerated aging in our people. Could we use that? Simpson leaned closer to examine the readouts. If we understand why I'm immune, a commotion at the laboratory entrance interrupted them. 2 warriors escorted a Modernist officer in ornate armor. The prisoner's fur was singed, and fresh plasma burns scored his chest plate. Commander Rax, Myra hissed, backing away from the controls. I come seeking asylum, Rax said, raising his hands. Thax has gone too far. The weapon he's manufacturing hundreds of units. He plans to deploy them against civilian populations within 5 cycles. Simpson kept his rifle trained on Rax while reviewing the intelligence data on the commander's tactical computer. The specs confirmed their worst fears. Thax's scientists had salvaged components from Simpson's crashed pod, integrating quantum drive fragments into the aging weapon's design. The temporal field could affect multiple generations simultaneously, Myra said, analyzing the schematics. Entire bloodlines wiped out in seconds. Simpson organized the traditionalist forces into 3 defensive units, positioning warriors based on their natural strengths and combat experience. He drilled them relentlessly in Earth infantry tactics while incorporating their traditional fighting styles. During training exercises, Wren noticed something unprecedented. Warriors who spent the most time training with Simpson displayed enhanced reflexes and coordination. Their natural abilities seemed to amplify in his presence. Kira, the traditionalist archaeologist, requested an urgent meeting. She spread ancient scrolls across a stone table, pointing to specific passages. The prophecy speaks of the star-fallen warrior carrying the spark of awakening and energy that would unlock our ancestors' dormant potential. These warriors aren't just learning new tactics. Your presence is triggering genetic changes. A scout burst into the chamber, breathing heavily. Modernist forces are mobilizing early. They've detected the energy signature changes in our warriors. Thax fears the prophecy's fulfillment. He's ordered an immediate attack. How long? Simpson demanded. Hours at most. Their weapon is ready. They've fully integrated the quantum drive components. Simpson activated the command crystal network, contacting his unit leaders. Wren, take the northern approach. Rax, I'm trusting you with the southern defense. Myra and I will hold the center while we work on a countermeasure. In the medical lab, Myra extracted samples of Simpson's blood, testing them against various frequencies. If we can replicate your cellular resistance pattern, we might be able to protect our warriors. But the quantum field complicates everything. These readings suggest it's creating a cascading temporal effect. Simpson studied the energy signatures. They matched the anomaly preventing his rescue beacon from reaching Earth. The drive malfunction, the prophecy, this weapon, they're all connected. But how? The perimeter alarm crystals pulsed red. On the tactical displays, hundreds of Modernist signatures approached from 3 directions. Thax's forces had arrived sooner than expected. Myra's latest test produced a breakthrough. Your immune response, it creates a localized dampening field, if we can amplify it through the healing chamber's broadcast network. Do it, Simpson ordered, checking his weapon. I'll buy you time. He activated his tactical comm. All units prepare for contact. Remember your training. We hold until Myra completes the countermeasure. The first energy blast struck the outer shields as Simpson took position with the Central Defense Force. Through his scope, he watched Modernist troops advance in perfect formation, carrying silver devices that hummed with familiar quantum resonance. The real test of prophecy and preparation was about to begin. Through his scope, Simpson tracked the approaching Modernist forces when movement caught his attention. Wren's squad shifted positions with unprecedented speed and coordination. The warriors flowed like liquid mercury between cover points, their movements precise and enhanced beyond normal Cation capabilities. Simpson, Medical Chamber 3, Myra's voice crackled through his comm. You need to see this. Leaving the defensive line under Rax's command, Simpson sprinted to the underground medical facility. The chamber's crystal displays showed cellular scans of warriors who had trained under him. Their genetic structure is changing, Myra said, highlighting specific sequences. Your presence has activated dormant genes. The warriors who spent the most time training with you show the most pronounced effects. Before Simpson could respond, explosions rocked the northern perimeter. The first Modernist probe struck Wren's position. Through the tactical feeds, Simpson watched his enhanced warriors execute the defensive protocols he drilled into them. They moved with impossible speed, neutralizing the attacking force with minimal losses. Bring in the prisoners, Simpson ordered. The captured Modernists revealed Thax's weapons program had progressed further than expected. 3 prototype devices combining aging technology with quantum components stood ready for deployment. 5-mile effective radius, one prisoner said. The temporal field will age everything within range to dust. Simpson activated the evacuation protocols, directing civilians toward the underground shelters. As refugees streamed into the lower levels, proximity alarms triggered in a sealed section of the complex. Ancient doors ground open, revealing corridors lined with crystalline weapon emplacements. An elderly female Caitian emerged from the sealed area. Her silver-streaked fur had an iridescent quality, and she wore robes covered in technical interfaces. "I am Lyra," she said, examining Simpson with keen interest. "For decades, I have maintained these defense systems, waiting for the one who would awaken our warriors' true potential." The ancient weapons responded to commands from the enhanced warriors, powering up targeting arrays and shield generators. These defenses were designed to activate only when the prophesied leader arrived, Lyra explained. They may be able to disrupt Thax's temporal weapons, but full activation requires synchronization with our healing technology. "What kind of synchronization?" Simpson asked. "A partial merge with the system," Lyra said. "It will expose you to the same principles Thax weaponized. The risk is significant." A squad returned from a raid led by Commander Rax, carrying Modernist technical documents. The specs revealed a critical flaw: the quantum components made the weapons unstable. Each use risked creating temporal distortions that could destroy the users. Long-range sensors detected Thax's main force approaching from 3 vectors. The temporal distortions around them warped the very air, creating shimmering patterns of twisted spacetime. Simpson studied the medical chamber's synchronization interface. "How long does the procedure take?" 20 minutes, Myra said. "But the process cannot be reversed. Begin preparations," Simpson ordered. "We need every advantage before Thax arrives." As Myra calibrated the chamber, Lyra interfaced with the ancient defense grid. The crystal weapon emplacements hummed to life, ready to defend against the modernist assault that would determine the future of an entire species. Simpson stepped into the synchronization chamber. The crystal matrix closed around him as Myra initiated the procedure. Energy coursed through his cells, connecting him to both the healing technology and the quantum principles that had stranded him on this alien world. Through the chamber's viewport, he watched the temporal distortions grow stronger as Thax's forces drew closer. Energy coursed through Simpson's cells as the synchronization chamber hummed. His muscles tensed, then relaxed as the crystal matrix integrated with his nervous system. Through the viewport, he watched Myra and Lyra monitoring banks of displays. "Extraordinary," Lyra said, her silver-streaked fur reflecting the chamber's glow. "His cellular structure is creating a cascading resonance pattern." The chamber's readout spiked. Simpson felt a wave of warmth spread from his core outward. On the tactical displays, a translucent field expanded through the Templar fortress in a steadily growing circle. "The warriors," Myra gasped, examining new data streams. "Their enhanced capabilities are intensifying within the field's radius." Through the security feeds, Simpson watched Wren's squad moving with impossible grace. Their movements blurred as they cycled through combat drills, their natural agility amplified beyond normal Caitian limits. A priority alert flashed across the command crystal network. Commander Rax's intelligence agents had intercepted communications from the Modernist forward base. Simpson's vision swam as he processed the data through his synchronized connection. "Lieutenant Commander Vex has analyzed the quantum drive components from your crashed pod," Rax reported via tactical comm. "They believe the interaction between your biology and our healing technology could trigger a catastrophic reaction." "Thax is adapting his strategy," Lyra said, studying the intercepted tactical plans. "He intends to force your surrender rather than risk destroying you in combat." Simpson tracked 3 massive power signatures through the defense grid sensors. The Modernist forces positioned weapon platforms in a triangular formation around the Templar fortress. Each platform pulsed with familiar quantum resonance. "Those power cores," Simpson said, recognizing the configuration. "They're drawing massive energy to generate the temporal fields, but the shielding is minimal. A coordinated strike could overload their containment systems." He transmitted tactical data to Wren and Rax, highlighting vulnerabilities in the weapon platform's designs. Through his enhanced connection to the defense systems, he mapped out strike team routes that would exploit gaps in the Modernist security perimeter. The temporal distortions are becoming unstable, Myra reported, monitoring long-range sensors. Modernist troops near the platforms are showing signs of accelerated aging. Security feeds showed Modernist soldiers collapsing, their fur graying as time accelerated around them. Others scrambled away from the platform's influence radius, but Supreme Commander Thax's orders kept them in position. "The synchronization field is protecting our warriors," Lyra said, examining sensor data. "Your connection to the defense systems creates a temporal dampening effect. We could extend the field's range by increasing power to the crystal matrix." Simpson's muscles burned as the chamber drew more energy through his enhanced connection. The protective field expanded outward, encompassing more of the Templar fortress. Through the tactical network, he coordinated with Wren and Rax, directing strike teams toward the weapon platforms while maintaining the dampening field. "Multiple temporal anomalies forming in the Modernist ranks," Myra reported. "Their weapon platforms are becoming increasingly unstable." Simpson watched through the defense grid sensors as reality twisted around the Modernist positions. Space itself seemed to ripple and fold, creating patches of accelerated time that aged everything they touched to dust. "Thax's forces are dying," Rax said via comm, "but he's still preparing for the final assault." "Launch the strike teams," Simpson ordered, fighting waves of fatigue as he maintained the protective field. "Target those power cores before the temporal distortions tear reality apart." Enhanced warriors moved into position, their movements precise and deadly in ways that matched ancient Caitian legends. As the strike teams prepared to advance, the weapon platform's energy signatures spiked dangerously. Time itself hung in the balance as enhanced warriors prepared to clash with unstable temporal weapons. Through the defense grid sensors, Simpson tracked the mounting temporal distortions spreading through the Modernist ranks. Patches of accelerated time carved deadly swaths through Thax's forward units, aging soldiers to dust where they stood. "Supreme Commander Thax is mobilizing his entire force," Rax reported through the tactical network. 3 columns advancing under shield coverage. Simpson transferred his consciousness from the synchronization chamber to the ancient defense control room, where Master Architect Lyra waited at the crystal interface terminals. His legs trembled as he stepped from the chamber, muscles protesting the strain of maintaining the protective field. "The shield must expand," Lyra said, her silver-streaked fur rippling in the crystallite. "Our warriors need complete coverage." Simpson placed his hands on the control matrix. Energy coursed through his enhanced connection, spreading the temporal dampening field outward. Pain lanced through his chest as his heart rate spiked. "Blood pressure critical," Myra warned, monitoring his vitals. "The synchronization is causing cellular deterioration." "Hold position," Simpson broadcast to his unit leaders. "Wren, northern sector. Rax, maintain southern defense. Central line stays with me." The Modernist assault struck like a plasma storm. Shield generators mounted on hovering platforms protected their advance, creating safe corridors through the temporal chaos their own weapons had spawned. Enhanced warriors responded with fluid precision, their movements a blur as they engaged the enemy. "Northern breach." Wren's voice crackled through the comm. Modernist shock troops attempting to punch through. Through the tactical feeds, Simpson watched his enhanced Caitians move with impossible speed. Wren's warriors flowed around enemy positions, neutralizing threats before the Modernists could track their enhanced movements. Warning indicators flashed across the defense grid. "Infiltration team detected in lower complex," Myra reported. "Lieutenant Commander Vex leads them. They're heading for your crash site. Redirect Squad 7, Simpson ordered, fighting waves of dizziness. Protect those quantum drive components. The battle for the lower levels played out on security feeds. Enhanced warriors intercepted Vex's team in a maintenance corridor. The Modernist commander activated a device that hummed with familiar quantum resonance. Temporal weapon. Myra shouted, close-range prototype. The device sparked, reality twisting around it. A sphere of accelerated time expanded outward, but something went wrong. The field collapsed inward, trapping Vex and his team in a bubble of compressed time. Their forms blurred, aging decades in seconds before the feed cut out. Simpson. Lyra's voice drew his attention to the main tactical display. The weapon platforms are destabilizing. Energy signatures from the three Modernist platforms fluctuated wildly. Simpson recognized the pattern from his marine combat training power systems on the verge of catastrophic failure. Thax is ordering full activation, Rax reported. Despite the instability, launch the strike teams, Simpson commanded. His vision darkened at the edges as he pushed more energy into the protective field. Target those platforms before they fire. 3 teams of enhanced warriors moved through the chaos of battle. They navigated temporal distortions and enemy fire, closing on the weapon platforms with predator grace. Simpson watched through tactical feeds as his warriors engaged Modernist defenders in close combat, their enhanced speed and strength evident in every movement. His knees buckled. Myra caught him before he hit the floor, helping him stay upright at the control matrix. Your cellular structure is breaking down, she said, examining a medical scan. The synchronization is killing you. The field requires stabilization independent of your biological connection, Lyra added, fingers dancing across crystal controls. We must find another way to maintain the barrier. The weapon platform's energy signatures peaked. Time itself seemed to stretch and tear around their positions. Simpson poured everything he had into maintaining the protective field, even as his body screamed in protest. Through the pain and fatigue, he tracked his strike teams closing on their targets. The next few moments would determine not just the battle's outcome, but the survival of everyone caught in this temporal storm. A blinding flash erupted from the northern weapon platform as Ren's strike team breached its containment systems. The explosion sent waves of temporal energy rippling outward, momentarily disrupting Simpson's protective field. His connection to the defense grid flickered as alarms blared through the command center. Eastern perimeter breach. Myra's voice cut through the chaos. Multiple Modernist units advancing through sectors 7 through 12. Simpson's enhanced vision tracked Thax's forces as they poured through the gap. The Modernist commander had positioned his troops perfectly to exploit the field disruption. Simpson diverted power from the southern defensive arrays, redirecting enhanced warriors to contain the incursion. Commander Rax, he transmitted through the tactical network. Fall back to secondary positions. Priority is protecting the inner sanctum. Through security feeds, he watched Vex's surviving team emerge from a maintenance shaft near his crashed pod's location. The temporal weapons malfunction hadn't eliminated them, as previously thought they'd somehow survive the time dilation effect. Squad 7 is engaged elsewhere, Lyra reported. We cannot intercept Vex's team. A wave of dizziness struck Simpson. He steadied himself against the crystal controls as his legs threatened to give out. The strain of maintaining the protective field sent spikes of pain through his nervous system. The warriors, Myra said, examining sensor data. Their enhanced capabilities are destabilizing. Your deteriorating condition is affecting the entire network. Through the tactical feeds, Simpson watched several enhanced Cations struggle to control their amplified abilities. One warrior's enhanced speed sent him crashing through a wall when he failed to decelerate properly. Another's strength crushed the weapon she held. A massive energy surge drew his attention to the second Modernist platform. Instead of initiating its normal firing sequence, the device began pulling temporal energy from the surrounding distortions. Reality warped around it, creating a vortex of twisted spacetime. That reaction pattern, Rax transmitted. It's creating a cascade effect. The temporal energies are compounding exponentially. Simpson analyzed the energy readings, his combat engineering training recognizing a possible solution. Lyra, the healing chambers, their crystal matrices are designed to stabilize quantum fluctuations if we route the temporal energy through them. The strain could kill you, Myra interrupted. Your cellular structure is already breaking down. Begin the procedure, Simpson ordered. He interfaced deeper with the temple systems, preparing to channel the dangerous energies while maintaining the protective field. A priority alert flashed across his enhanced vision. Vex's team had reached the crashed pod and accessed its quantum drive components. The interaction between their equipment and the temporal energy he was attempting to redirect created an unexpected phenomenon, a stable corridor through time-space. Incoming transmission, Lyra announced. Origin, United Earth Federation Command. The message cut through the tactical channels with perfect clarity. Lieutenant Simpson, this is Admiral Chen. We detected your transport's quantum drive malfunction and have been working to locate you. A rescue operation is possible, but our window of opportunity is limited to the moment of your crash. Do you copy? Simpson processed the implications. A rescue would undo everything: the awakening of the Cation warriors' genetic potential, their enhanced capabilities, his role in their prophecy. It would leave them vulnerable to Thax's Modernist forces. The second weapon platform's energy readings spiked dangerously. Local spacetime began to fragment around it as the temporal cascade accelerated. Through his neural link to the defense grid, Simpson felt the enhanced warrior's abilities becoming more erratic. His own connection to the ancient systems grew increasingly unstable as his cells continued to break down. Admiral Chen, he transmitted, I copy, but the situation here is complex. A thunderous impact shook the Templar fortress as Thax's forces pressed their advantage in the eastern breach. Simpson diverted more power to the defensive arrays, knowing each adjustment brought him closer to complete cellular failure. The time corridor remained open, offering an escape from this desperate situation, while the temporal cascade threatened to tear reality apart around them. Admiral, the situation here requires my immediate attention, Simpson transmitted. Unable to accept extraction at this time, warning indicators flashed across his enhanced vision as he tracked Vex's team through the security feeds. Their equipment interacted with his pod's quantum drive components, creating localized temporal distortions that stabilized into a coherent corridor. Lyra, Simpson called out, his legs threatening to buckle. The time corridor's energy signature, we can integrate it with the defense grid. The master architect's fingers flew across crystal controls, initiating quantum resonance alignment. The corridor's temporal frequency matches our defensive arrays. Simpson channeled power through his neural link, merging the time corridor's stable field with his protective barrier. Pain lanced through his skull, but the overlay succeeded. The temporal cascade from the second weapon platform splashed harmlessly against the reinforced shield. Modernist forces changing vector, Myra announced. Supreme Commander Thax is redirecting his battalions toward the crash site. Through tactical feeds, Simpson watched Modernist units converge on the pod's location. Commander Rax, take your strike team to defend the crash site. We cannot let them capture those drive components. Enhanced warriors moved with fluid grace through the chaos, their movements more controlled than before. Simpson noticed the change through his neural link. Their genetic modifications were stabilizing. The time corridor, Myra said, examining sensor data. Exposure to its temporal field is completing their evolutionary adaptations. A new alert drew Simpson's attention. A lone figure approached the temple's medical entrance under a flag of temporary ceasefire. Security scans identified her as Chief Medical Officer Nova. Let her through, Simpson ordered. Maintain defensive positions. Nova's silver-streaked fur was singed from weapons fire as she entered the command center. Supreme Commander Thax has modified the third platform, she reported without preamble. He's adapting it to harness the cascade energy from Platform 2. Targeting parameters, Lyra asked, hands hovering over crystal controls. Selective temporal acceleration, Nova replied. He plans to age specific sections of the battlefield while protecting his own forces. Simpson's enhanced vision tracked multiple combat feeds. Rax's warriors engaged Vex's team near the crash site, their movements a blur of precise strikes. The Modernists retreated, but not before extracting a crucial component from the quantum drive. Admiral Chen, Simpson transmitted through the increasingly unstable corridor. What caused my transport's drive malfunction? The response came broken and distorted. Quantum, resonance cascade, permanent temporal, closure risk. Simpson processed the fragmented data while routing more power through the healing chambers. Crystal matrices hummed as they absorbed temporal energy from the cascade, but each pulse sent fresh waves of agony through his failing body. Your cellular structure is approaching critical, Myra warned, medical scanners painting his form in warning colors. Nova moved to a medical terminal, analyzing his deterioration. The genetic catalyst that triggered the warrior's evolution is destroying your human physiology, but if we can isolate the stabilizing effect from the time corridor. The third weapon platform's energy signature changed, incorporating familiar quantum frequencies. Simpson recognized the pattern. Thax's scientists were merging the stolen drive component with their temporal technology. Strike teams, prepare for assault on the third platform, Simpson broadcast through tactical channels. We move before they complete modifications. Enhanced warriors assembled in attack formation as Simpson coordinated through his neural link. The protective field flickered with each pulse of temporal energy, his consciousness straining to maintain the complex overlay of defenses. Nova's fingers danced across medical controls. Commander, I need direct access to the healing chamber's crystal matrix. If we can synchronize your genetic deterioration with the temporal absorption rate. A massive energy spike erupted from the third platform. Reality twisted as Thax's forces launched their first selective temporal attack. Simpson diverted power to reinforce affected sectors, knowing each adjustment brought him closer to complete cellular collapse. Through the tactical network, he tracked 3 simultaneous operations: the ongoing energy absorption through healing chambers, perimeter defense against Modernist incursions, and his strike teams moving into position to neutralize the third platform. Time itself seemed to fragment around the battlefield as multiple temporal effects collided and merged. Nova worked furiously at the medical controls while monitoring his vital signs. The stabilization process is possible, but we need more time. Time, Simpson murmured, watching reality tear itself apart around them, is something we're running dangerously short on. Time, Simpson repeated, his vision blurring as he processed incoming tactical data. Nova, begin your treatment preparations. We'll have to coordinate with the systems. Warning indicators flashed across multiple displays as the healing chamber's crystal matrices reached maximum capacity. Temporal energy crackled through the ancient conduits, overloading secondary systems. Western shields failing, Lyra announced, her fingers dancing across crystal controls. Rerouting power from auxiliary sectors. Through security feeds, Simpson watched Thax's forces breach the weakened perimeter. Modernist troops poured through gaps in the defensive field, their weapons modified to generate localized time distortions. Nova pressed a medical injector against his neck. This stabilizer will buy us minutes at most. The genetic catalyst is accelerating cellular breakdown. Simpson's enhanced vision tracked Commander Rax's strike team as they approached the third weapon platform. Above them, temporal bubbles distorted the air, aging vegetation and structures within their radius to dust. Ren, Simpson transmitted through the tactical network. Status of tunnel infiltration. Enhanced units in position, Wren responded, awaiting Modernist focus on Rax's assault. The time corridor fluctuated violently, its quantum resonance destabilizing the defense grid. Through fractured windows in spacetime, Simpson glimpsed Earth military vessels positioned around his transport's original coordinates. Lyra's hands paused over the controls. "Commander, I've found something. An emergency protocol buried in the ancient code." "The systems are killing him," Nova interjected, medical scanners painting Simpson's form in critical colors. "We need to break the neural connection." "Show me the protocol," Simpson ordered, ignoring the burning sensation spreading through his nervous system. Lyra transferred the data to his enhanced vision. Complex energy patterns determinationed into a singular purpose, a massive discharge capable of neutralizing the temporal distortions. "Rax's team is in position," Myra reported. "Modernist forces are activating final modifications to the third platform." Simpson analyzed the sensor data through increasingly unstable neural feeds. Lieutenant Commander Vex's calculations appeared in his tactical display. Activation of the modified weapon would trigger a cascading temporal reaction. "Begin the protocol," Simpson transmitted to Lyra. "Nova, administer your treatment on my mark." The ancient systems hummed with building power as Lyra initiated the emergency sequence. Simpson's connection to the defense grid deepened, sending waves of agony through his deteriorating cells. Through combat feeds, he watched enhanced Cation warriors engage Modernist forces. Their movements displayed unprecedented speed and precision as temporal energy accelerated their evolution. Wounds sealed almost instantly as their bodies adapted to the battlefield conditions. "Strike team breaching outer defenses," Rax transmitted. "Heavy resistance at the platform entrance." Simpson diverted power to reinforce their position. The effort sent fresh spasms through his body as Nova prepared her modified treatment. "Quantum resonance approaching critical threshold," Lyra warned. "Protocol requires total synchronization." "Multiple temporal bubbles forming along the main gate," Myra announced. "Supreme Commander Thax has committed his reserve units." Simpson channeled power through the healing chambers, using their stabilizing effect to maintain the defense grid. The combined strain threatened to overwhelm his consciousness as Nova positioned medical equipment around him. "Treatment ready," Nova stated, monitoring his vital signs. Synchronizing with protocol activation. Through tactical feeds, Simpson watched Wren's warriors emerge from concealed tunnels behind Modernist lines. The surprise attack disrupted Thax's formation as Rax's team breached the platform's inner defenses. The time corridor pulsed with increasing instability, creating temporal echoes that rippled through the Templar fortress. Simpson's enhanced vision captured glimpses of past and future moments bleeding together. "Now," Simpson ordered as multiple crises converged. Nova activated her treatment as Lyra executed the final sequence of the emergency protocol. Energy surged through ancient systems as modified Cation healing technology flooded Simpson's bloodstream. The world fractured into quantum possibilities as Simpson's consciousness expanded through the defense grid. Through this enhanced perception, he tracked every aspect of the battle. Rax's team fighting through the platform's corridors, Wren's warriors disrupting Modernist ranks, and Thax's forces pressing against the main gate's weakening barriers. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as the ancient protocol reached its activation threshold. Nova pressed the medical injector against Simpson's neck. The modified treatment coursed through his veins, burning like liquid fire. His neural connection to the defense grid flared with newfound intensity as Cation genetic markers merged with his cellular structure. "Cellular reconstruction initiating," Nova announced, monitoring the rapid changes. His body is accepting the hybridization. Through enhanced vision now sharper than ever, Simpson tracked multiple tactical feeds. Commander Rax's strike team breached the outer walls of the third platform, their weapons' fire echoing through temporal distortions. Elite Modernist guards emerged from defensive positions, unleashing volleys of energy bolts that warped spacetime around their targets. Supreme Commander Thax detected on platform sensors, Myra reported. He's interfacing directly with the quantum drive component. Simpson channeled power through his strengthened neural link. The defense grid responded with unprecedented precision as his hybrid biology integrated more deeply with ancient systems. Ren, begin tunnel assault. Enhanced warriors poured from concealed passages behind Modernist lines, their movements blurred with preternatural speed as they engaged the enemy. A Modernist soldier fired a temporal burst, but the enhanced Cation dodged with impossible reaction time, perceiving the distortion before it manifested. The evolution is complete, Nova observed. They're adapting to temporal effects in real time. The time corridor stabilized, its quantum frequencies aligning with Simpson's modified physiology. Earth military transmissions cut through the interference with sudden clarity. Admiral Chen to Commander Simpson. Our analysis confirms the drive malfunction resulted from resonance feedback between Cation and Earth technologies. The Modernists' weapon modifications will trigger a cascading temporal explosion. Lyra's hands flew across crystal controls. Commander, the healing chambers are responding to your hybrid patterns. We can generate a protective field against temporal effects. Implementing field modifications now, Nova added, redirecting power through medical systems. But extending coverage will weaken our remaining shields. A massive energy spike erupted from the third platform. Temporal bubbles materialized across the battlefield, aging vegetation and structures to dust within their spheres of influence. Through tactical feeds, Simpson watched Modernist soldiers caught in the distortions age decades in seconds, their bodies withering as time accelerated around them. Rax's team has reached the control center, Myra announced. Visual feed establishing. The tactical display showed Supreme Commander Thax Neuralink to salvage drive components. His eyes darted rapidly as he experienced multiple timelines simultaneously, mouth moving in broken sentences. The convergence must direct all possibilities. Supreme Commander, Lieutenant Commander Vex pleaded, the system is destabilizing. We must abort. I see it all. Thax snarled, temporal energy crackling around him. Past, present, future, we will control time itself. The weapon platform's energy readings spiked dangerously. Simpson diverted power through his hybrid-enhanced connection, struggling to contain the cascading reactions. Nova, deploy the protective field. Rax, neutralize Thax before he triggers a temporal explosion. Enhanced warriors engaged Thax's personal guard in close-quarters combat. The Modernist leader's temporal psychosis manifested in erratic attacks, each strike distorting local time-space. Commander Rax dodged a blow that aged the wall behind him to powder, closing distance with enhanced speed. The healing chambers hummed with rising power as Nova's modifications took effect. A translucent field expanded outward, neutralizing temporal bubbles where it spread. Modernist weapons fire impacted the temple's weakened shields with increasing intensity. Through the stabilized corridor, Simpson maintained his neural link to both Earth and Cation systems. His hybrid biology processed the complex data streams without strain, allowing precise control over the ancient defenses. The Templar Fortress's crystals pulsed with energy as multiple operations reached critical convergence. Temporal cascade imminent, Vex transmitted from the platform. Supreme Commander, please, Thax's maniacal laughter cut through the channel. The evolution of our species requires sacrifice. Initiate final sequence. Simpson watched through combat feeds as Rax's strike team closed in. racing against the platform's rising energy levels. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance as temporal forces threatened to tear reality apart. The platform's quantum core pulsed with blinding intensity as Thax's neural connection deepened. His eyes darted between unseen timelines while energy cascaded through the ancient systems. Commander Rax's strike team pressed forward through the control center, their weapons tracking Thax's erratic movements. "I see your attacks before you make them," Thax snarled, his form blurring as he phased between moments of time. Every possibility, every outcome. Vex's fingers flew across the platform's controls. System lockdown initiated, attempting emergency shutdown. Warning indicators flashed across his display as security protocols activated. "Number, this isn't right. The failsafes are triggering an acceleration sequence." In the Templar fortress, Simpson's enhanced vision captured the platform's rising energy signatures. Nova monitored his vital signs as the hybrid treatment stabilized his cellular structure. "Commander, your biology is generating an unexpected energy pattern." Lyra analyzed the readings from her crystal console. These signatures, they matched descriptions from the ancient texts, the original catalyst that sparked our evolution. Her eyes widened. The human genome contains markers our ancestors possessed. The eastern wall shuddered under concentrated modernist fire. Enhanced Cation warriors moved with fluid grace through temporal distortions, their evolved physiology allowing them to operate where their enemies faltered. Simpson watched through tactical feeds as modernist soldiers aged decades within their own weapons' effects, their bodies crumbling while his enhanced forces pressed the advantage. "Platform reaching critical threshold," Rax transmitted. "Estimate 28 minutes until catastrophic overload." Nova adjusted medical equipment around Simpson. "The healing chambers can generate a protective field, but it requires direct interface with your hybrid biology. We can't maintain both the defense grid and extend protection to Rax's team." "There may be another way," Lyra interjected, her hands dancing across ancient controls. "The defense systems could amplify your energy signature. With proper calibration, we could accomplish both." Movement on the perimeter caught Simpson's attention. A substantial force of modernist troops approached under white flags, led by a decorated officer. "Colonel Jerks," Myra identified. "Tactical analysis suggests genuine retreat." "Supreme Commander's temporal psychosis has compromised command," Jerks transmitted on an open channel. "We seek sanctuary from the weapon's effects." Through combat feeds, Simpson observed Rax's team fighting through waves of temporal disruption. Thax flickered between positions, existing partially outside normal time flow. Each near-miss aged equipment and architecture around them to dust. "Modifications complete," Nova announced. "Ready to channel your hybrid signature through the defense grid." Simpson activated the reconfigured systems. Energy surged through his neural connection as the healing chambers amplified his unique cellular pattern. The effect rippled outward, neutralizing temporal distortions across the battlefield. In the platform's control center, Thax's form solidified as the quantum interference stabilized. "No!" Thax screamed, his tactical advantage stripped away. "The convergence cannot be stopped." The weapon platform's power core began to overload, releasing expanding rings of temporal energy. Nova studied the sensor data with growing concern. "Commander, the healing chambers might be able to reverse these effects using your hybrid template, but the exposure levels. The risk of additional mutations is significant," Lyra added, monitoring the rising power signatures. Simpson's enhanced vision tracked multiple crisis points, simultaneously Rax's team engaging the vulnerable Thax, Jerx's forces awaiting permission to approach, and the platform's countdown to critical mass. The next few moments would determine the fate of both their civilizations, as temporal energy continued to tear reality apart around them. Through the defense grid, Simpson felt the ancient system's pulse in harmony with his hybrid biology. The Templar fortress's crystals resonated with frequencies that hadn't been generated since their ancestors first achieved evolutionary transcendence. Now those same energies flowed through his modified cellular structure, offering both salvation and transformation at a cost yet unknown. Simpson channeled power through his neural link, the Templar fortress's crystals pulsing in sync with his hybrid biology. Myra, activate security screening protocols for incoming forces. Screening measures in place, Myra confirmed as Colonel Jerx's troops approached. Commander Rax's enhanced sensors detecting no temporal anomalies among the defectors. Nova studied the medical readouts with intense focus. Commander, your cellular structure is actively generating a dampening field. Temporal disruptions neutralize within 50 meters of your position. Through tactical feeds, Simpson watched the defecting Modernist forces integrate into defensive positions. Jerx coordinated with Wren's warriors, establishing overlapping fields of fire along the perimeter. The combined forces created a formidable defensive line against the remaining Modernist assault teams. Crystal formations spread across the temple walls, transforming the ancient stone into translucent structures that resonated with Simpson's energy signature. Lyra's hands moved across her console, tracking the changes. The fortress is adapting to your hybrid pattern. These crystalline growths match frequencies documented in our earliest records. A massive temporal pulse erupted from the weapon platform. Simpson watched through enhanced vision as the distortion ring expanded outward. Modernist soldiers caught in its path aged rapidly, their bodies withering as time accelerated around them. Within his dampening field, both Cation and human forces remained unaffected. Platform power core at 93% of critical threshold, Vex transmitted from the control center. Supreme Commander's neural connection is fragmenting. Multiple versions of Thax appeared on tactical displays, each existing slightly out of phase with normal time. One version accessed the platform's primary controls, while another interfaced with auxiliary systems. A third materialized near the quantum drive components, hands moving across different console configurations. His temporal psychosis has progressed beyond predicted parameters, Nova reported, analyzing the sensor data. Each version exists in a separate probability track, but they're beginning to converge. Commander Rax's strike team transmitted footage from their fallback position. Multiple hostiles advancing through temporal distortions. Request immediate tactical assessment. Simpson diverted power through the defense grid, expanding the protective field generated by his hybrid biology. The Templar fortress's crystals amplified the effect, creating a sphere of temporal stability that encompassed their defensive positions. Modernist energy weapons impacted harmlessly against the field's outer boundary. New intelligence from Colonel Jerx confirms 4–2% of Modernist forces are combat ineffective, Myra announced, increasing desertion rates among remaining units. Rax's tactical analysis appeared on Simpson's enhanced display. Recommend strike team deployment through temporal corridor. Enhanced warriors can maintain cohesion while advancing on the platform. With Commander Simpson's dampening field extended, the strain could accelerate his biological changes, Nova interrupted, monitoring Simpson's vital signs. We don't know how his hybrid physiology will respond to prolonged power channeling. More crystal formations emerged along the temple's infrastructure. The transformed sections pulsed with energy frequencies matching Simpson's cellular signature. Lyra studied the readings with growing intensity. These structures, they're not just resonating with your biology, they're amplifying the ancient healing protocols. Through the defense grid, Simpson tracked multiple temporal versions of Thax as they manipulated different platform systems. Each iteration pushed the power core closer to critical mass. Lieutenant Commander Vex transmitted encrypted data packets containing core specifications and quantum drive diagnostics. Nova processed the technical data while adjusting Simpson's medical support systems. The drive component's degradation is releasing particles that interact directly with Cation genetic markers. It's accelerating evolution in enhanced warriors while causing severe neural degradation in unprotected modernist forces. Platform core at 97%, Vex warned. Multiple timeline variants of Supreme Commander Thax attempting simultaneous activation sequences. Simpson initiated neural connection with Rax's tactical systems. Prepare strike team for temporal corridor assault. We move on my mark. Nova reconfigured the mobile medical unit, monitoring suite ready for field deployment. But Commander, your hybrid transformation is still progressing. Extended exposure to the platform's emissions could trigger unpredictable mutations. The weapon platform's power signature spiked again. Another pulse of temporal energy expanded outward, aging structures and vegetation to dust where it passed. Within the protected zone of Simpson's amplified dampening field, Jerx's forces maintained defensive positions alongside Ren's warriors. Crystal growth accelerated throughout the Templar fortress, creating networks of resonant structures that hummed with ancient power. Lyra's analysis indicated the transformed sections possessed properties similar to Cation healing technology. The crystalline matrices pulsed in harmony with Simpson's hybrid energy signature as he prepared to lead the strike team toward their final confrontation with the fractured versions of Supreme Commander Thax. Simpson channeled power through the crystalline networks as his strike team moved into position. Through enhanced vision, he tracked multiple versions of Thax operating at different temporal phases. One version manipulating primary controls while others accessed auxiliary systems and quantum components. Team Alpha, engage temporal variant at primary console, Rax transmitted. Bravo and Charlie, target auxiliary positions. Maintain pressure on all fronts. Enhanced Cation warriors split into coordinated groups, their movements fluid as they pressed through waves of temporal distortion. Each team focused on a separate version of Thax, preventing the Supreme Commander's fractured copies from consolidating their defense. Commander Simpson, maintenance shaft access point located, Colonel Jerx transmitted, highlighting a narrow service tunnel on tactical displays. Route bypasses main temporal interference fields. Nova's medical readouts showed stabilization in Simpson's cellular structure. Hybrid pattern fully integrated. Your biology is generating consistent dampening effects without degradation. The Templar fortress's transformation accelerated around them. Crystalline growth spread in precise geometric patterns, surfaces taking on a translucent quality that pulsed with energy frequencies matching Simpson's hybrid signature. Lyra studied the formations through ancient scanning equipment. These patterns exactly match our oldest architectural records, she transmitted, overlaying historical diagrams with current sensor data. The fortress is reverting to its original form. Simpson advanced toward the weapon platform, his dampening field extending through the crystalline networks with minimal strain. Enhanced warriors engaged Thax's temporal copies, while Rax led a small team through the maintenance shaft, their progress unimpeded by the quantum interference that filled larger spaces. Platform core drawing power from surrounding temporal distortions. Vex warned from his position in the control center. Quantum drive integration accelerating. Emergency protocols engaged, but external access is locked out. New formations of crystal emerged on the weapon platform's surface, resonating with the temple's transformed architecture. Simpson's hybrid biology interacted with both structures, creating cascading harmonics that enhanced his dampening field's effectiveness. The quantum drive technology, Lyra transmitted, it shares fundamental principles with our ancient healing systems. The crystalline structures are acting as conduits between both. Enhanced Cation warriors demonstrated increasing combat effectiveness near the crystal formations. Their evolved sensory abilities allowed them to anticipate Thax's time-shifted attacks, forcing his fractured copies to consolidate defensive positions. Multiple temporal variants converging, Commander Rax reported from the maintenance shaft. Approaching power core chamber now. Simpson reached the platform's outer perimeter as Rax's team accessed the core. The quantum drive component had physically merged with Cation technology, creating a hybrid system that mirrored his own biological transformation. Drive integration matches your cellular patterns, Nova transmitted, analyzing the merged technologies. Your hybrid signature could stabilize the quantum reactions. Through tactical feeds, Simpson observed Rax's team establishing control positions around the fused drive assembly, while enhanced warriors pressed their advantage against Thax's remaining temporal copies. The crystalline transformation continued its geometric expansion across both structures as ancient Cation systems reactivated on an unprecedented scale. Core temperature rising, Vex transmitted. Quantum resonance increasing exponentially. Simpson channeled his hybrid energy signature through the crystal networks, extending his dampening field toward the platform's heart. The merged technologies pulsed in response, creating new patterns of quantum interference that even Lyra's ancient sensors struggled to decode. The battle for control of the weapon platform entered its critical phase. Enhanced warriors engaged the converging versions of Thax, while Rax's team worked to stabilize the quantum core. Simpson pressed forward, his hybrid biology interacting with both human and Cation technologies in ways that would reshape their understanding of both civilizations' development. Through the crystalline matrices, energy patterns shifted and realigned as ancient systems awakened to full power for the first time in millennia. A new figure emerged on the tactical displays as Simpson approached the weapon platform's perimeter. Head engineer Koros stepped out of a maintenance access point, her hands raised in a gesture of non-hostility. The quantum integration has achieved autonomous stability, she announced through the command channel. My sensors indicate a self-sustaining reaction between the drive components and Cation systems. Nova's medical readouts flickered as crystalline structures erupted from the ground between the Templar fortress and weapon platform. The formations grew with geometric precision, interlocking to create a translucent bridge that pulsed with energy matching Simpson's hybrid signature. Remarkable, Koros transmitted, scanning the crystalline pathway. The resonance patterns are amplifying your dampening field without increasing biological stress. Simpson stepped onto the bridge. Energy flowed through the crystal matrix, extending his protective field across a wider radius. Through enhanced vision, he watched the temporal copies of Thax destabilize as the dampening effect reached the platform. Supreme Commander's temporal variants collapsing, Rax reported from the core chamber. Multiple signatures converging into primary timeline. The fractured versions of Thax phased in and out of normal spacetime, their forms blending together as Simpson's field neutralized the temporal distortions. Enhanced warriors pressed forward, forcing the Modernist leader's copies toward a central point. Koros interfaced with a crystal-encrusted console. The quantum drive has evolved beyond initial parameters. It's replicating your hybrid transformation protocols across its operational range. Inside the power core chamber, Rax's team surrounded the merged technologies. The quantum components pulsed with familiar frequencies as they integrated with ancient Cation systems. Enhanced warriors demonstrating unprecedented capabilities. Nova transmitted, monitoring biological readings. Crystal resonance enabling direct energy manipulation consistent with historical records. Vex's voice crackled through temporal interference. Core stabilized temporarily, time dilation increasing in control center. experiencing accelerated analysis cycle, transmitting data packets now. The crystalline bridge hummed with increasing power as Simpson advanced. Enhanced warriors moved alongside, their evolved biology syncing with the ancient structures. They channeled energy through the crystal matrix, creating defensive barriers that mirrored the temple's original systems. Healing protocols activating through bridge network, Nova reported, detecting cellular regeneration among injured Modernist forces. Wounded soldiers caught in temporal attacks began recovering as the crystal conducted healing energy spread across the battlefield. More Modernist warriors lowered their weapons, watching their comrades restored by the ancient technology. The remaining temporal copies of Thax collapsed into a single form. The Supreme Commander stumbled, disoriented by the merger of multiple timeline experiences. His enhanced warriors took defensive positions around him as he absorbed the consolidated memories. Quantum cascade approaching critical threshold, Koros transmitted to Nova. Integration will become irreversible within minutes. We must decide shutdown or progression. Rax's team positioned themselves around the hybrid core system, ready to initiate emergency protocols on your command. Shutdown could revert evolutionary developments in enhanced personnel, Nova added, analyzing Koros's data. Genetic stability uncertain. From his temporally accelerated position, Vex transmitted detailed system analyses. Platform transformation affecting fundamental quantum structures. Changes spreading through surrounding spacetime matrix. Simpson continued across the crystalline bridge, his dampening field maintaining stability as the merged technologies approached their pivotal moment. Enhanced warriors secured his advance, while the consolidated form of Supreme Commander Thax gathered his remaining loyal forces. The ancient Templar fortress resonated with newly awakened power as the quantum integration neared its apex. Crystal formations pulsed with increasing energy as Simpson moved toward his confrontation with Thax, each step bringing them closer to a transformation that would reshape their civilizations. The crystalline bridge vibrated with increasing resonance as Simpson advanced. Commander Rax's tactical team breached the quantum drive housing, their enhanced vision penetrating layers of transformed technology. Drive integration accelerating beyond projected parameters, Koros transmitted, her hands moving across newly formed crystal interfaces. The hybrid systems are achieving autonomous stability. Through the command channel, Rax's voice cut through background interference. Primary housing accessed. Structure exhibits similar properties to Commander Simpson's cellular patterns. Enhanced warriors established defensive positions along the bridge's length, channeling energy through crystalline nodes that emerged from the translucent surface. The formations pulsed in sync with Simpson's hybrid signature, creating overlapping fields of protection. A coordinated blast of weapons fire struck their position. Supreme Commander Thax led his consolidated forces in a precise attack pattern, leveraging combat knowledge from multiple temporal variants. Enhanced warriors shifted in response, their evolved sensory capabilities barely matching the Modernist leaders' complex tactical approach. Multiple structural supports crystallizing, Rax transmitted from inside the platform. Detecting systematic conversion of Modernist components, Weight analyzing new vulnerability in southeast quadrant. Nova's medical scanners track the transformation spread. Crystallization process exhibits selective preservation protocols. Beneficial systems enhanced, offensive capabilities neutralized. The weapon platform's surface rippled as more crystalline structures emerged. Modernist equipment sparked and transformed, ancient Cation technology asserting control through spreading geometric patterns. Thax's forces fired again, their attacks striking crystal barriers that absorbed and redistributed the energy. Commander, Vex's transmission carried temporal distortion artifacts, accessing historical archives through hybrid systems. The Crystal Network is part of a planetary defense grid, more installations detecting activation signatures. Lyra's analysis confirmed Vex's discovery, multiple sites registering power spikes, grid reactivation spreading beyond immediate combat zone. A massive energy surge rocked the platform as Thax initiated emergency protocols. Warning indicators flashed across tactical displays as conventional systems began overload sequences. Supreme Commander attempting terminal overload, Rax transmitted. Team moving to disable power distribution nodes. Enhanced warriors, maintain bridge defense. Critical timing required. Simpson channeled energy through the Crystal Network, his hybrid signature stabilizing sections of the bridge as Thax's forces pressed their attack. Enhanced warriors adapted to the Modernist leader's tactics, using the crystalline formations to anticipate and counter each coordinated strike. Grid transformation affecting additional Modernist positions, Koros reported. Requirement to contain spread before critical systems compromised. Nova, correlating data with your biological analysis. Inside the platform, Rax's team navigated through crystallizing corridors toward key power junctions. The quantum drive's integration accelerated, sending pulses of energy through newly formed geometric patterns that matched the Templar fortress's ancient architecture. Overload sequence targeting bridge supports, Vex warned through temporal interference. Calculating blast radius damage potential catastrophic to both forces. Enhanced warriors channeled more power through the crystal nodes, strengthening their defensive barriers as Thax's forces launched another synchronized attack. The Modernist leader coordinated his remaining troops with tactical precision earned through multiple timeline experiences. Accessing primary distribution hub, Rax transmitted. Team 2, secure secondary junctions. Team 3, maintain quantum drive stability. Crystal formations continued their geometric expansion across the battlefield. The weapon platform's transformation accelerated as ancient Cation systems activated, converting more modernist technology into resonant structures that pulsed with hybrid energy signatures. Nova's medical sensors tracked the changes. Crystallization process mirrors Simpson's cellular adaptation, technology evolving along similar patterns to enhanced biology. Through tactical feeds, Simpson observed Rax's team working to prevent Thax's overload attempt while maintaining their position around the quantum drive housing. Enhanced warriors defended the bridge against increasingly complex attack patterns as the Modernist leader pushed his forces to breach their position. The battle entered a critical phase as three operations converged. Rax's mission to prevent catastrophic overload, Simpson's advance with his stabilizing field, and the enhanced warrior's defense against Thax's coordinated assault. Through it all, the crystalline network continued its expansion, reshaping the battlefield with each passing moment. A blinding flash erupted from the quantum drive housing as Thax's forces pressed their attack. The weapon platform shuddered, crystalline growths accelerating across its surface in geometric patterns. Simpson tracked the transformation through his enhanced vision as new formations erupted between Modernist defense positions. Energy spike detected, Koros transmitted. Quantum drive resonating with overload attempt. Crystal growth rate increased by 400%. Rax's team navigated through rapidly transforming corridors, crystal walls shifting to reveal previously hidden access routes. New paths identified, moving to bypass Modernist strongpoints. Teams 2 and 3 converge on these coordinates. Simpson channeled energy through his connection to the bridge network, stabilizing the crystal structure as it expanded. Modernist weapon emplacements sparked and transformed, their metal surfaces flowering into crystalline nodes that pulsed with familiar hybrid frequencies. Multiple systems converting, Vex reported through temporal distortion. Accessing archived data, the defense grid appears to be adapting human quantum technology into its base architecture. Enhanced warriors position themselves along newly formed crystal buttresses, their evolved biology interfacing naturally with the transformed structures. Energy flowed through their bodies into the geometric patterns, creating barriers of solid light that blocked modernist advance routes. Remarkable, Nova transmitted. The crystal network is developing neural-like pathways. Simpson's hybrid patterns are being replicated throughout the system. Lyra's tactical display lit up with new energy signatures, alert detecting activation signals from multiple defense installations, grid reactivation spreading beyond engagement zone. Thax's remaining officers watched their equipment fail as the crystallization wave approached. Colonel Jerks moved among them, speaking in low tones as more modernist units lowered their weapons. Power distribution becoming unstable, Koros warned. Implementing containment protocols through modified quantum housing. Rax, prepare for synchronized adjustment on my mark. Simpson advanced through waves of transformation, his dampening field creating a sphere of stability in the chaos. The enhanced warriors channeled power through nearby crystal formations, their defensive barriers shifting to match the platform's evolving architecture. Supreme Commander initiating terminal protocol, Vex transmitted urgently. Detecting countdown sequence in remaining conventional systems. Rax's team reached a critical junction where crystalline growths merged with power conduits. In position at primary node, team standing by for containment procedure. The platform structure continued its rapid evolution as Simpson pressed forward. Modernist soldiers scrambled for stable positions as crystal formations reshaped their environment. Through the command channel, Nova tracked the spreading transformation. Crystallization extending toward civilian sectors, she reported. Current growth rate will reach populated areas within minutes. Executing containment sequence, Koros transmitted. Channel power through designated nodes. Rax, initiate quantum modifications now. Energy surged through the crystal network as Rax's team implemented Koros's solution. The geometric patterns shifted, creating boundaries that directed and controlled the transformation spread. Simpson felt the change through his hybrid connection, a focusing of the wild energy into structured pathways. Thax's voice cut through the tactical channel. Shutdown sequence locked. You cannot stop what's coming. Warning indicators flashed across tactical displays as power levels in the conventional system spiked toward critical levels. The countdown proceeded while Rax's team worked to redirect the building energy surge through the new crystal architecture. Containment field stabilizing, Koros reported. Crystal growth responding to quantum modifications. Nova, confirm boundary integrity. Enhanced warriors continued channeling power through the transformed structures, their evolved capabilities amplified by the ancient technology. The crystalline network hummed with increasing energy as Simpson's hybrid field maintained a corridor of stability through the chaos of transformation. Time ticked down as multiple crises converged the race to contain the spreading crystallization, the effort to prevent Thax's destructive countdown, and the challenge of managing the defense grid's reactivation across the planet. Through it all, Simpson pressed forward across the bridge, his enhanced senses tracking every shift in the evolving battlefield as ancient and modern technologies merged into something entirely new. Simpson's enhanced vision tracked geometric patterns cascading through the weapon platform's infrastructure. The crystalline growth accelerated, spreading in fractal waves that consumed modernist equipment in their path. 3 critical junctions identified, Koros transmitted. Teams must modify power distribution simultaneously to contain crystal spread and prevent overload. Rax's tactical team split into 3 units, each navigating through corridors that shifted and transformed around them. Team leads confirm positions. synchronizing countdown for modifications. Enhanced warriors positioned themselves along crystalline formations that now lined the bridge's length. Their bodies channeled energy through the structures, creating barriers of solid light that deflected incoming fire. Through their enhanced senses, they tracked multiple threats, both the remaining Modernist forces and newly activated defense turrets that swiveled to target the bridge supports. Simpson's advance slowed as his hybrid biology resonated with increasing intensity. Each step generated ripples through nearby systems, accelerating their transformation. Crystal structures flowered from Modernist panels and conduits, forcing him to modulate his movement. Simpson's field strength fluctuating, Nova reported. Hybrid resonance exceeding predicted parameters, adjusting monitoring protocols. Lyra's hands moved across ancient control surfaces, correlating data streams. Located original growth regulation protocols. Integration with hybrid signatures possible. Koros, preparing to sync with quantum modifications. The weapon platform shuddered as Vex initiated emergency shutdowns. Power grid destabilizing, cutting non-essential systems to reduce overload potential. Crystalline structures buckled and shifted as power fluctuations rippled through the network. Simpson split his protective field, directing energy both forward to stabilize his advance and outward to reinforce the bridge against automated turret fire. Junction 2 partially crystallized, Rax transmitted. Team unable to access standard controls. Implementing bypass solution, Koros responded. Routing Modernist power cells through transformed circuits. Teams 1 and 3 prepare for synchronized activation. Nova's medical scanners tracked stress indicators in Simpson's hybrid systems as he maintained the divided field. Commander, detecting elevated cellular strain. Myra, prepare emergency protocols. The Crystal Network's expansion reached Modernist communication arrays, integrating their broadcast capabilities. Nova's analysis data flowed through the hybrid systems, reaching all forces on the battlefield. Tactical displays showed the transformation's true nature, not destruction, but evolution. Colonel Jerk spoke through the shared channel. All units, stand down, analyzing incoming data streams. Automated turrets continued their assault on the bridge supports. Enhanced warriors channeled more power through their defensive barriers, their evolved combat abilities allowing them to track and counter multiple threat vectors simultaneously. Initiating junction modifications, Rax transmitted. Team 2, activate bypass. Teams 1 and 3, execute standard procedure. Simpson advanced through waves of transformation, each step precisely calculated to maintain stability. His divided field flickered as turret fire intensified, forcing him to draw more power through his hybrid systems. Crystal growth boundaries establishing, Lyra reported. Implementing ancient containment protocols. Simpson's signature integrated. Koros, ready for quantum adjustment. Energy surged through the modified junctions as Rax's teams executed their coordinated solution. The geometric patterns shifted, new growth following controlled pathways rather than spreading unchecked. Through the crystal network, Simpson felt the change-wild energy becoming structured, contained. Power distribution stabilizing, Koros transmitted. Crystal spread responding to containment measures. Teams, maintain current configurations. The automated turrets adjusted their targeting patterns, forcing enhanced warriors to adapt their defensive formations. Energy flowed through crystalline barriers, absorbing and redistributing weapons fire as Simpson pressed forward, his hybrid field maintaining crucial stability despite increasing strain. Through it all, the transformation continued its controlled advance, modernist and ancient technologies merging into something new under the guidance of carefully coordinated teams. The weapon platform evolved, its systems integrating human quantum technology through paths defined by ancient Caitian architecture. Warning indicators still flashed on tactical displays as Thax's countdown proceeded, but now 3 synchronized operations worked to prevent catastrophe power junction modifications, hybrid field stability, and enhanced warrior defense. Each element dependent on precise timing and coordination as the battle entered its most critical phase. Power surged through the bridge network as the countdown advanced past critical thresholds. Enhanced warriors positioned along crystalline buttresses tracked new threats materializing through the transformed corridors, a swarm of sleek combat drones emerging from concealed launch bays. Alert detecting Modernist weapon signatures, Lyra transmitted. Multiple autonomous units deploying with crystal disruption capability. The drones moved in precise formations, energy weapons charging as they targeted transformed sections of the platform. Simpson divided his protective field, creating a multi-layered barrier around vital crystal nodes while maintaining stability for his advance. Through his enhanced vision, he watched geometric patterns pulse with increasing intensity where his field intersected the quantum drive housing. Junction 1 modifications complete, Rax reported. Team 2 reports success at secondary node, moving to final position. Nova's medical scanners flashed warning indicators. Simpson's cellular stability dropping. Neural interface strain exceeding safe parameters. The quantum resonance peaked, crystal walls flowing aside to reveal a maintenance shaft bypassing the automated turret grid. Enhanced warriors moved swiftly through the opening, their evolved combat systems interfacing with the transformed architecture to mask their approach. Flanking route identified, Koros transmitted. Strike team, disable those turrets. We need that firepower eliminated before Junction 3 crystallizes completely. Colonel Jerk studied tactical readouts as Modernist drones systematically targeted crystal formations. Those attack patterns I recognize the command architecture. These are Mark 7 units from weapons development. Timeshift stability failing, Vex reported through increasing temporal distortion. Control center transformation accelerating, accessing archived data while systems remain linked. Simpson channeled more power through his hybrid biology, fighting to maintain the divided field as drone weapons fire impacted crystalline barriers. Each hit sent resonant frequencies through the network, forcing him to constantly adjust containment parameters. Third junction crystallizing faster than projected, Rax transmitted. Team 3 blocked from standard access route. Need alternative solution immediately. Jerx's hands moved across his tactical display, inputting command codes. Initiating drone override sequence. Rax, patch this into your team's systems. We can use their own units to clear a path. Energy coursed through the newly formed geometric patterns as Lyra implemented the ancient control protocols. The crystal structures responded, channels forming that matched temple carvings older than human civilization. Enhanced warriors felt the difference immediately, their defensive barriers expanding with improved efficiency. Nova, Myra transmitted, healing chamber modifications complete, standing by for emergency protocols if hybrid strain exceeds critical threshold. Vex's voice cut through increasing interference. Located archive transformation data, similar events recorded on multiple worlds. This isn't random, it's following established patterns. 28 minutes until timeshift isolation becomes permanent, Koros calculated. Vex, begin emergency extraction. Teams, we need that third junction modified before structural integrity fails completely. The first reprogrammed drones turned on their companions, precise energy bursts disrupting attack formations. Simpson pressed forward through the chaos, his hybrid field fluctuating as he maintained protection around critical systems. Through the crystal network, he sensed the enhanced warriors completing their flanking maneuver behind the automated turrets. Salvaging drone components, Rax reported. Koros, receiving your bypass specifications. implementing temporary bridge to access Junction 3 through crystal growth. The weapon platform shuddered as Vex's shutdown sequence triggered in more systems. New crystal formations erupted to support failing structures, their patterns following the efficient geometries revealed in Lyra's ancient protocols. Power flowed through the transformed architecture, stabilizing critical sections even as others evolved beyond their original configuration. Strike Team in position transmitted the enhanced warrior leader, targeting turret power cores, executing shutdown in 3, 2, 1. The automated defenses fell silent as precision strikes disabled their tracking systems. Simpson diverted more energy to his forward field, no longer needing to maintain full protection against turret fire. Through the command channel, Jerks continued methodically overriding drone units, turning their precise weapons against the remaining active squadrons. Crystal formations pulsed with increasing intensity, the quantum resonance building toward a critical threshold. Simpson felt the strain through his hybrid systems as he fought to contain and direct the transformation's power. The race to complete the junction modifications continued as multiple crises converged, each team executing their role in the carefully coordinated response to the platform's evolution. 3 minutes to junction synchronization, Rax transmitted as his teams aligned the final power conduits. Crystal formations pulsed in geometric patterns, each section responding to the carefully calibrated modifications. Power flowed through transformed circuits, creating stable containment boundaries that channeled the platform's evolution. Simpson advanced through drone-damaged sections, his hybrid field maintaining crucial stability. As he passed damaged crystal formations, his enhanced biology automatically interfaced with the structures. Fractured geometries reformed under his influence, broken patterns reconnecting with increased strength. Detecting anomalous repair activity, Nova reported, studying her medical scanners. Simpson's hybrid systems are directly manipulating crystal growth at the molecular level. The reprogrammed drones moved in precise formations under Jerx's control, their energy weapons recalibrated to emit frequencies that reinforced rather than disrupted crystalline structures. They targeted key support points, strengthening architectural weak spots created during the earlier battle. Drone Units 7 through 12 reinforced the eastern quadrant, Jerx directed. Units 1 through 6 established defensive screen around technical teams. In the time-shifted control center, Vex analyzed power fluctuations in the transformed systems. He adjusted his local field generators to match Simpson's hybrid energy signature. Reality rippled as normal time flow reasserted itself, giving him access to previously locked data archives. Time synchronization achieved, Vex transmitted. Accessing original defense grid specifications. These crystal formations, they're not random growth. They're following pre-programmed evolutionary patterns. Simpson's vital signs spiked as he channeled more power through his hybrid systems. Nova activated her emergency protocols, routing healing energy through the crystalline network. The merged technology responded, supporting his stressed biology while maintaining field stability. Medical support online through crystal interface, Nova confirmed. Cellular strain decreasing, hybrid functions stabilizing. Enhanced warriors moved through outer sections with fluid grace, their evolved combat systems perfectly attuned to the transformed environment. They used crystal formations as both cover and power conduits, amplifying their capabilities beyond previous limits. Section Beta 7 secured, transmitted the warrior leader. No remaining Modernist resistance detected. Crystal interface enhancing tactical awareness by 40%. Koro studied quantum drive readings, tracking energy patterns through the modified systems. Located critical vulnerability in drive housing. We can safely discharge remaining power through the crystal network, but timing must be precise. Alert, Lyra interrupted. Supreme Commander Thax detected in auxiliary control. He's attempting to overload local power distribution. Rax's tactical display updated with new threat indicators. Teams 1 and 3 maintain junction stability. Team 2 converge on auxiliary control. We need that room secured before. A power surge rippled through nearby crystals as Thax initiated his sabotage sequence. Simpson diverted additional energy to repair critical formations, his hybrid abilities working to counter the mounting damage. Power spike contained, Koros reported. Crystal network redistributing overload. Drive discharge preparations continuing. The enhanced warriors split into assault teams, using their crystal-enhanced capabilities to outflank Thax's position. Reprogrammed drones provided covering fire, preventing Modernist backup systems from activating. Through it all, Simpson continued his precise advance, repairing and stabilizing crucial formations. The transformation spread in controlled patterns, guided by ancient protocols and hybrid interface. Human and Caitian technologies merged seamlessly, creating defensive capabilities beyond either species' original designs. Drive discharge sequence programmed, Koros transmitted. Crystal network prepared to accept power transfer. Teams confirm final positions. Enhanced warriors breached auxiliary control's outer defenses, their evolved abilities allowing them to bypass automated security measures. Inside, Thax worked frantically at override controls as Rax's forces closed in. The weapon platform's future hung in balance as 3 critical operations raced toward completion. Nova monitored the Crystal Network's medical interface, ensuring Simpson's hybrid systems remained stable through the mounting stress. The transformed technology responded to his unique signature, creating an adaptive support framework that evolved alongside his capabilities. Preparing drive discharge timing sequence, Koros transmitted. All teams stand by for power fluctuation. Crystal network stability will be critical during transfer. Through crystalline corridors, Commander Rax's assault force advanced with practiced precision. The transformed architecture sealed itself behind their passage, crystalline structures flowing together to maintain hull integrity. Each breach point reformed into translucent barriers, preserving atmospheric containment while providing clear fields of fire. Contact, transmitted the lead warrior. Multiple automated defense turrets, Mark IV configuration. The enhanced Caitian soldiers moved with fluid efficiency, their evolved combat systems interfacing seamlessly with the crystalline environment. Energy signatures from their weapons matched the resonant frequencies of surrounding formations, minimizing structural impact during the firefight. Simpson's hybrid field detected a subtle variance in the crystal patterns near his position. Commander Rax, maintenance access detected 15 meters east of your position. Architecture matches ancient database protocols. Confirmed, Rax responded. Strike Team 2, exploit that access point. Pincer maneuver on auxiliary control. The hidden passage revealed itself as Simpson approached, geometric patterns reorganizing to create an arched portal. Enhanced warriors flowed through the opening, their movements enhanced by direct neural connection to the transformed environment. Through the crystal network, Simpson tracked their advance as they outflanked Thax's defensive positions. In the primary control center, Koros and Vex calibrated power distribution networks. Crystal formations pulsed with contained energy as they established safe channels for the quantum drive discharge. Network capacity at 87%, Vex reported. Crystal conductivity exceeding projected parameters. Nova's medical scanners detected an unexpected pattern, energy feedback affecting non-enhanced personnel, cellular modification occurring at controlled rates similar to warrior evolution protocols but significantly slower. The crystalline walls vibrated with sudden intensity. Through the command channel, Jerx's voice carried urgency. Power spike detected in auxiliary control. Energy signature matches quantum drive components. Simpson felt the disturbance through his hybrid interface, raw power flowing into biological systems without proper containment. Thax has accessed a secondary power node. Direct connection to crystal network detected. The enhanced warriors breached auxiliary control's inner chamber. Through their tactical feeds, Simpson witnessed Thax's transformation, crystalline growths emerging from altered flesh, power arcing between geometric formations that erupted from his form. The Supreme Commander's partially crystallized body pulsed with unstable energy. "Target contained," reported the strike team leader, unable to approach energy discharge preventing close contact. Simpson redirected his hybrid field, channeling stabilizing frequencies through the crystal network. The chaotic energy patterns around Thax began to normalize, creating brief windows in the discharge field. Detecting coherent patterns, Koros transmitted. Simpson's field is synchronizing with Thax's transformation. Nova analysis. Transformation can be stabilized, Nova confirmed. Similar to healing chamber protocols, quantum drive discharge could provide necessary power conversion if properly timed. The enhanced warriors maintained their containment positions as Simpson advanced. Each step brought greater stability to the localized crystal formations, his hybrid biology radiating controlled frequencies that damped Thax's erratic energy emissions. Beginning power transfer sequence, Koros announced. Crystal network primed for conducted discharge. Simpson maintained field integrity for 17 seconds. Thax's crystallized form writhed as Simpson's stabilizing influence grew stronger. The Supreme Commander's voice emerged, distorted by transformation. What have you done to my ship?" The transformation was inevitable, Lyra transmitted through the command channel. Ancient defense protocols are implementing planned evolution. Both technological and biological advancement was encoded in the original designs. Energy coursed through the crystal network as Koros initiated the quantum drive discharge. Simpson channeled the power through his hybrid systems, creating a stabilizing matrix around Thax's altered form. The transformed architecture pulsed in geometric patterns, each section responding to the carefully controlled power flow. "Discharge continuing," Koros reported. "Crystal network holding at 93% efficiency. Transformation stabilizing." Nova's medical scanners tracked the changes. Cellular reconstruction proceeding within acceptable parameters. Hybrid integration successful. The weapon platform hummed with contained power as multiple systems synchronized. Through his enhanced senses, Simpson observed the final stage of Thax's transformation, unstable crystalline growths, realigning into ordered patterns that merged smoothly with surrounding architecture. The Supreme Commander's altered form settled into a stable configuration. Hybrid biology successfully integrated with the ancient defense grid's evolved technology. Transformation complete, Nova confirmed. Hybrid function stabilizing, beginning detailed analysis of modified systems. The enhanced warriors maintained their positions as technical teams moved in to establish monitoring equipment. Through the crystal network, Simpson sensed the platform's continued evolution, controlled changes spreading through both technological and biological systems as the ancient protocols executed their programmed sequence. Multiple transformation signatures detected, Lyra transmitted. The defense grid is implementing coordinated changes throughout the platform. This is only the beginning. As the ancient protocols continued their execution sequence, Simpson redirected his focus to Thax's unstable form. The crystalline growths pulsed with erratic energy, threatening to destabilize the surrounding sections. Moving to optimal field position, Simpson transmitted. His hybrid systems interfaced with the transformed architecture, creating a stabilizing zone that expanded outward from his location. The chaotic energy patterns around Thax began shifting into more regular geometries. Commander Rax's enhanced warriors took up defensive positions at key junctions. Power regulation teams in position, establishing containment grid. Through the Crystal Network, Koros implemented his modified discharge protocol, initiating power transfer through secondary conduits. Simpson maintained field coverage at these coordinates. Crystalline formations responded to the carefully calibrated energy flow, reorganizing into precise configurations that channeled power away from Thax's position. The technical teams worked at transformed control interfaces, monitoring feedback levels as the quantum drive's energy spread through the network. Resonance spike detected in Section 4, Vex reported from his time-synchronized station. Pattern matches archived transformation data, adjusting containment parameters. Nova's medical scanners tracked cellular changes in real time, detecting normalized crystal growth in peripheral systems, integration rate at 37% and climbing. Simpson shifted position as energy feedback rippled through nearby formations. The crystal structures bent and flexed, adapting to contain the discharge while supporting his stabilizing field. Through his hybrid interface, he sensed Thax's biology beginning to synchronize with the transformed systems. Drone units establishing secondary containment field, Jerks transmitted. The reprogrammed units generated precisely tuned energy barriers, reinforcing crystal stability where power fluctuations threatened structural integrity. Lyra studied the evolving patterns in the auxiliary control room's architecture. These formations match Templar Fortress defensive configurations. The grid is implementing ancient containment protocols. A surge of quantum energy pulsed through the network. Simpson compensated instantly, his hybrid field expanding to absorb the excess power. Enhanced warriors at nearby junctions redirected the overflow through stabilized crystal conduits. Power spike contained, reported the warrior team leader. Crystal network holding at designated parameters. Koros adjusted power flow rates at his transformed console, modifying discharge sequence to match integration tempo. Nova confirmed cellular stability. Transformation proceeding within acceptable limits, Nova transmitted. Hybrid interface establishing balanced energy distribution through modified tissues. The crystalline growths around Thax began pulsing in rhythm with Simpson's stabilizing field. Reformed structures curved upward from floor and walls, creating a geometric cage that contained and regulated the Supreme Commander's evolving form. Secondary resonance detected, Vex announced. Power fluctuations spreading to connected defense installations. Crystal network compensating automatically. Simpson maintained his position as the quantum discharge continued, channeling stabilizing energy through his hybrid systems. The transformed architecture responded to his presence, creating additional power conduits that distributed the load across multiple crystal formations. Establishing tertiary containment protocols, Rax transmitted. His enhanced warriors activated evolved combat systems, generating synchronized fields that reinforced the crystal network's natural stability. Through it all, Thax's partially crystallized form continued its controlled evolution. Nova's medical systems tracked each cellular change as ancient protocols merged with modified biology. The weapon platform's transformed systems worked in concert, supporting the stabilization process with precisely calculated power flows. The auxiliary control room hummed with contained energy as multiple systems reached equilibrium. Simpson's hybrid field maintained its protective coverage, while technical teams monitored the final stages of the quantum discharge. Around them, the crystal network pulsed with structured power as the ancient defense grid executed its programmed sequences. Near the room's transformed boundaries, enhanced warriors maintained their defensive positions. Their evolved capabilities allowed them to interface directly with the crystalline formations, providing immediate response to any fluctuations in the stabilization field. The merged technologies created an adaptive support framework that evolved alongside the ongoing transformation. New pattern detected in outlying installations, Lyra transmitted. Crystal growth accelerating in synchronized waves. The defense grid's evolution protocols are spreading in synchronized waves. The defense grid's evolution continued as Simpson redirected additional power through his stabilizing field. Thax's crystalline form pulsed with each new energy wave, the chaotic growth patterns gradually shifting toward ordered configurations. Power discharge stabilizing, Koros transmitted. Network efficiency at 95%. Crystal formations accepting full quantum load. Through the hybrid interface, Simpson sensed the transformation's progression. Each pulse of energy brought Thax's altered biology closer to stable integration. The crystalline growths realigned themselves, matching the geometric patterns Simpson recognized from his time in the healing chambers. Nova's medical scanners tracked the cellular changes, detecting hybrid gene expression. Human-cation genetic patterns emerging in transformed tissues, matches Simpson's baseline readings. The enhanced warriors adjusted their positions around the auxiliary control room. Energy surges rippled through the crystal network as they channeled excess power away from critical systems. Their evolved capabilities allowed direct manipulation of the transformed structures, preventing dangerous feedback loops from disrupting the stabilization field. Team 3, rotate to Junction 7, Commander Rax ordered. Energy loads approaching maximum tolerance. Vex worked at his transformed console, ancient symbols flowing across crystal displays. Located matching pattern in archived data, transmitting modified parameters to medical systems. Nova implemented the adjustments immediately. Healing protocols optimized. Energy distribution efficiency increased by 23%. The weapon platform systems responded to the improved protocols. Crystal formations throughout the structure pulsed in synchronized patterns, their network expanding outward through previously dormant sections. Simpson maintained his position at the center of the stabilizing field, channeling the quantum drive's power through precisely controlled pathways. Multiple installation sites activating, Lyra reported. Defense grid implementing standardized transformation protocols across Planetary network. Jerx's drones tracked the expansion, their sensors detecting new energy signatures radiating from the Templar fortress. Crystal growth extending beyond primary battlefield, stable pathways forming between ancient installations. The auxiliary control room's architecture continued its evolution, geometric patterns shifting to accommodate the spreading network. Thax's partially crystallized form stabilized further as the modified healing protocols took effect. The Supreme Commander's altered biology integrated smoothly with the transformed systems, following the same hybrid patterns that had emerged during Simpson's evolution. Biological stability achieved, Nova confirmed. Hybrid integration proceeding within designated parameters. Through the crystal network, Simpson sensed the final stages of transformation. The chaotic energy patterns around Thax purposed themselves into precise configurations, matching the surrounding architecture's evolved state. Power flowed freely through the stabilized formations, creating a seamless merger of quantum technology and ancient engineering. Defense grid cohesion at optimal levels, Lyra transmitted. Installation network establishing automated coordination protocols. The transformed platform hummed with controlled power as multiple systems achieved equilibrium. Crystal structures pulsed with contained energy, their network extending through newly formed pathways that connected ancient defensive positions across the planet's surface. Secondary stabilization fields holding, reported Commander Rax. Warriors maintaining power regulation at all critical junctions. Simpson adjusted his hybrid field as the quantum discharge reached its final phase. The crystalline formations responded instantly, channeling energy through evolved conduits that supported both technological and biological transformation. Around them, the ancient defense grid continued implementing its coordinated evolution protocols, spreading stable hybrid systems throughout the connected installations. The crystalline network pulsed with a steady rhythm as Simpson monitored Thax's final integration phase. Through his hybrid interface, he detected new energy signatures emanating from the stabilized form. Detecting unprecedented neural activity, Nova transmitted, her medical scanners tracking rapid changes. Thax's hybrid systems are developing advanced crystal interfacing capabilities. Integration rate exceeds previous parameters. Simpson adjusted his stabilizing field as Thax's transformed biology demonstrated enhanced control over nearby formations. Crystal structures bent and realigned without external input, creating direct neural connections to the platform's core systems. Remarkable adaptation speed, Koros noted from his engineering station. Beginning conventional weapons decommission sequence. His technical teams moved through the transformed sections, disconnecting power cores and preparing them for removal. As they worked, previously hidden panels in the walls slid aside, revealing ancient Cation maintenance units. The automated systems activated immediately, extending crystalline appendages that merged with the surrounding architecture. These units matched Templar Fortress specifications, Lyra transmitted, originally designed for self-repair and system preservation. Simpson tracked 3 distinct energy spikes through the expanded network. Major installations powering up, Vex confirmed. Locations correlate with archived defense grid coordinates. Crystal growth patterns replicating platform configuration. Commander Rax's enhanced warriors moved with practiced efficiency, utilizing the crystal network's new pathways. Team 2, secure northern installation. Team 3, move to southern approach. Their evolved biology synchronized naturally with the transformed systems, allowing rapid deployment across connected sites. Drone surveillance grid established, Jerks transmitted. His modified units positioned themselves at key junction points, their sensors mapping the spread of hybrid technology. Tracking transformation wavefront, multiple infrastructure conversions in progress. Nova's medical readouts displayed a cascade of cellular changes. Thax's hybrid interface capabilities now exceed baseline measurements, direct crystal manipulation observed at molecular level. Through the network, Simpson sensed Thax testing these new abilities. Crystalline formations responded instantly to the Supreme Commander's neural patterns, reconfiguring themselves with precise control. The enhanced capabilities presented both opportunities and risks for the expanding defense grid. Engineering teams reports Templar Fortress healing chambers producing modified crystal matrices, Koros transmitted. Formations demonstrate stable hybrid energy storage properties. Nova analyzed the new crystals through her transformed medical systems. These could serve as controlled evolution templates, safe hybrid conversion without direct quantum exposure. The weapon platform's architecture continued its measured transformation as engineering teams dismantled conventional weapons arrays. Ancient maintenance units moved smoothly through open sections, their crystalline components integrating with exposed systems. Defense grid activation sequence matches archive protocols, Vex reported. His time-synchronized displays track the precise progression. Each node triggers predetermined infrastructure changes while maintaining critical functions. Jerx's surveillance drones detected the systematic conversion spreading through connected installations. Transformed technology expanding along stable pathways, mapping priority junctions for technical team deployment. The enhanced warriors secured newly activated sites, their evolved capabilities allowing direct interface with the crystal network. Through these connections, they coordinated seamlessly across multiple locations, preventing unauthorized access to transformed systems. Beginning modified crystal production sequence, Koros transmitted. His engineering teams calibrated the healing chamber's output, preparing for large-scale template creation. The stabilized formations would enable controlled evolution of additional Cation populations. Simpson maintained his position within the auxiliary control room as multiple operations proceeded. Through his hybrid systems, he sensed Thax exploring their shared capabilities, probing the limits of their enhanced interface with the crystalline network. Transformed installations pulsed with synchronized energy as the defense grid's expansion continued. Ancient protocols executed their programmed sequences, converting conventional technology while preserving essential functionality. The merged systems created an evolving framework of hybrid technology, spreading outward from the weapon platform's stabilized core. Simpson detected a shift in Thax's neural patterns through the hybrid interface. The Supreme Commander directed a precise burst of energy through nearby crystal formations, demonstrating unprecedented control over the transformed systems. Initiating coordinated infrastructure conversion, Thax transmitted, his thoughts flowing seamlessly through the network. Priority facilities first. Nova moved to a transformed medical station, her fingers dancing across crystalline displays. Modified healing matrices show 98% stability, ready for deployment to secondary sites. The crystal templates pulsed with stored energy, each one carefully calibrated to enable controlled evolution without direct quantum exposure. Engineering teams prepare for three-phase implementation, Koros transmitted. His technical crews deployed throughout the weapon platform, establishing standardized protocols for Modernist facility conversion. Crystal seeding units loaded and calibrated. Commander Rax's enhanced warriors secured the perimeter as engineering teams moved out. Their evolved biology allowed them to generate localized stability fields, protecting sensitive equipment during the transformation process. Teams 1 through 4 established containment perimeters at designated power stations. Through the expanded sensor network, Simpson tracked multiple conversion operations simultaneously. Power plants, communication centers, and military installations began their measured transformation as technical crews installed modified healing crystals at strategic points. Detecting successful crystal integration at Grid Station 7, Vex reported from his control station. Power systems responding to hybrid protocols. Beginning Phase 2 sequence. Transformed maintenance units extended throughout the facility, their crystalline appendages merging with exposed infrastructure. Ancient Cation technology spread through modern systems with calculated precision, preserving essential functions while upgrading core components. Orbital platforms showing first signs of crystal growth, Jerks transmitted. His surveillance drones tracked energy signatures radiating from space-based installations. Automated delivery systems deploying stabilization units to prevent communication disruption. Lyra analyzed incoming data streams, her attention focused on recurring patterns in the defense grid's activation sequence. These energy signatures suggest a central control nexus. Ancient records indicate subsurface installation coordinates. Her displays highlighted a specific region deep beneath the planet's crust. Simpson worked with Thax through their shared interface, adjusting crystal growth rates across multiple sites. When power fluctuations threatened a communications relay, they redirected energy through alternate pathways, maintaining network stability. Establishing specialized security division, Commander Rax transmitted. Enhanced units deploying to all active transformation zones. His warriors moved with practiced efficiency, their evolved capabilities allowing instant response to any stability variations. Nova monitored the spreading transformation through her medical systems. Hybrid integration maintaining consistency across all sites. Modified templates performing within specified parameters. The weapon platform's auxiliary control room served as their command center, coordinating operations across an expanding network of transformed installations. Simpson sensed each new facility as it joined the crystal matrix, adding its capabilities to their growing infrastructure. Orbital Defense Platform 3 beginning primary conversion, Koros reported. Engineering teams deploying modified templates via automated systems. Through the hybrid interface, Simpson observed the careful balance between preservation and transformation. Modern technology merged seamlessly with ancient systems, creating an evolved infrastructure that maintained essential services while incorporating advanced capabilities. Location of control facility confirmed, Lyra transmitted. Analyzing access routes through transformed network. Her displays mapped crystalline pathways that led deep underground, revealing the outline of massive installation. The enhanced warriors established defensive positions around newly transformed sites, their evolved biology allowing direct interface with security systems. Colonel Jerx's drones maintained constant surveillance, their sensors calibrated to detect any anomalies in the conversion process. Phase 3 transformation complete at primary power distribution hub, VEX confirmed. Full structural integration achieved, beginning automated system optimization. Simpson and Thax continued directing the expansion through their shared crystal interface, their enhanced capabilities providing precise control over the transformation's pace and pattern. As each facility evolved, the ancient defense grid incorporated it into its coordinated protocols, creating an interconnected network of hybrid technology that spread steadily across the planet's surface and up into orbit. Establishing conversion timeline for civilian infrastructure, Koros transmitted. Engineering teams preparing modified templates for urban deployment. His technical crews worked systematically, applying their experience from military installations to develop safe protocols for public facilities. Through the Crystal Network, the transformation continued its measured advance, guided by ancient wisdom and modern necessity, evolving Cation technology toward its next iteration. Nova's medical displays flickered as new data streamed in from transformed monitoring stations. Detection protocols identifying subsurface anomalies. Crystal formations exhibit directional growth patterns. Simpson tracked the readings through his hybrid interface, sensing resonant frequencies deep beneath the surface. Through their shared connection, Thax directed a focused pulse into the ground, triggering a cascade of crystalline reactions. The floor panels shifted, revealing previously hidden access points. Master Architect, Thax transmitted, these formations match your historical data. Lyra moved to a transformed console, her fingers tracing ancient symbols. Templafortress construction techniques. The crystal growth follows established maintenance tunnels. Her displays mapped an intricate network extending kilometers below. Commander Rax assembled specialized teams at the exposed access points. Warriors with advanced interface capabilities form up with technical units. Standard containment protocols. The enhanced soldiers synchronized with nearby crystal formations, generating localized stability fields as engineering crews deployed survey equipment. Their evolved biology provided natural protection against quantum fluctuations in the newly discovered passages. Detecting active power signatures, Vex reported from his station. Multiple systems activating in response to hybrid energy patterns. Koros directed his engineering teams through the transformed sections, studying the crystal modifications. These formations demonstrate enhanced conversion properties. He extracted samples from key junction points, analyzing their molecular structure through upgraded diagnostic systems. The technical crews established mobile production units, synthesizing improved healing crystals based on the new data. Integration efficiency increased by 4 to 3%, Koros transmitted. Beginning mass production sequence. Above the planet, orbital platforms pulsed with transformed energy as crystal growth spread through their systems. Warning indicators flashed across Vex's displays. Gravity field fluctuations detected, converting stabilization protocols. Deploying modified relay satellites, Jerks transmitted. His drone units positioned Modernist communication platforms at calculated intervals, their systems reprogrammed to channel crystal growth through stable pathways. Nova monitored the biological readings from personnel working in transformed zones. Cellular adaptation rates increasing within safe parameters. Enhanced capabilities manifesting without quantum exposure risks. The exploration teams descended through crystalline tunnels, their enhanced warriors maintaining protective fields around technical specialists. Ancient maintenance systems activated as they passed, recognizing their hybrid signatures. Control facility located, Commander Rax transmitted. Establishing secure perimeter. His warriors spread out through the massive underground chamber as engineering crews began interfacing with dormant systems. Crystalline computers surged to life, responding to Simpson and Thax's presence. Technical displays illuminated the chamber, projecting detailed schematics of planetary defense networks that merged ancient and modern technologies. These specifications exceed known theoretical limits, Lyra noted, capturing data streams from the activated systems. Priority protocols highlighted for immediate implementation. Vex's orbital monitoring systems detected approaching vessels. Multiple Modernist signatures entering sensor range. Energy patterns matched neighboring system configurations. Commander Rax's enhanced warriors moved to defensive positions throughout the transformed network. Security teams deploying to orbital platforms. Crystal interface capabilities at full capacity. Simpson and Thax accessed the ancient control systems, modifying healing crystal templates for potential diplomatic applications. Their hybrid abilities allowed precise calibration of transformation protocols while maintaining core stability requirements. Engineering teams have modified crystal production to support space-based operations, Koros transmitted. Automated manufacturing units online at all converted facilities. The underground control facility systems continued revealing new capabilities as Lyra translated technical archives. Each activated section provided additional protocols for managing the expanded defense grid, integrating transformed technologies across planetary and orbital installations. Through the crystal network, Simpson sensed the coordinated operations spreading outward from their position. Enhanced warriors secured strategic points while engineering teams established standardized conversion procedures. The ancient systems guided their technological evolution with calculated precision, preparing for challenges that now approached from deep space. Simpson directed his attention to the ancient control facility's primary interface, his enhanced senses registering waves of activation spreading through crystalline circuits. The massive underground chamber hummed with increasing power as dormant systems responded to his and Thax's hybrid signatures. 3 distinct power signatures detected, Commander Rax transmitted from an adjacent section. Moving teams to secure additional control nodes. His enhanced warriors spread through branching corridors, their evolved capabilities generating protective fields around the technical specialists who followed. Head engineer Koros examined a cluster of crystals at the first secured node, his diagnostic equipment scanning their complex molecular structure. These appear to be prototype healing crystals, far more sophisticated than our modified versions. He extracted a sample, feeding data through the transformed network, designed for large-scale implementation of both technological and biological conversion protocols. Warning indicators flashed across Lieutenant Commander Vex's displays, Modernist vessels now within primary sensor range. Detecting quantum drive signatures consistent with neighboring system configurations. His transmission paused as new data streams emerged, orbital platforms initiating automated defense protocols. Through their shared crystal interface, Simpson and Thax observed transformed weapon systems activating across the orbital network. Human quantum technology merged seamlessly with ancient Caitian engineering, creating hybrid defense arrays that maintained perfect stability despite their unprecedented power output. Archived data confirms original system parameters, Vex reported, his attention focused on technical readouts from the facility's data cores. This grid wasn't just meant for external defense. The entire network was designed to prevent technological stagnation through controlled evolution. Nova worked at a transformed medical console, implementing modified healing protocols based on the facility's archived data, distributing specialized enhancement templates to security teams. Each unit receives capabilities optimized for specific operational roles. She monitored neural patterns as the controlled evolution spread, integration rates holding steady within safe limits. Secondary manufacturing chamber located, Lyra transmitted from a newly accessed section. Ancient production systems coming online. The chamber filled with crystalline light as automated fabricators activated, beginning production of hybrid components compatible with both transformed and conventional technology. Koros directed his engineering teams to collect the newly manufactured parts, initiating interface module assembly for Modernist vessel integration. These will allow safe docking procedures at converted platforms. His technical crews established production lines, standardizing the manufacturing process. Commander Rax's enhanced warriors gathered in a section equipped with holographic projectors, implementing combat training protocols through simulation systems. The crystalline displays generated precise tactical scenarios, allowing conventional forces to practice operating within transformed environments. Colonel Jerx's drone network provided real-time data, updating the simulations with current defense configurations. Power grid conversion proceeding according to archive specifications, Koros transmitted. Crystalline conduits extending through urban infrastructure. His displays tracked the spreading network of energy channels, providing clean power to both military and civilian installations. Simpson sensed the approaching vessels through the expanded crystal matrix, their quantum signatures growing stronger. He directed power through the transformed defense grid, maintaining precise control while Thax coordinated with the production teams. Interface modules ready for deployment, Koros reported. Modified healing crystals in mass production at all converted facilities. His engineering crews loaded the components onto automated delivery platforms, preparing for multiple contingencies. The ancient control facilities systems continued revealing new capabilities as Simpson and Thax explored its full operational capacity. Each activated section provided additional options for managing the transformed infrastructure, allowing precise control over both defensive and diplomatic preparations. Through their hybrid interface, they monitored the Modernist ship's approach while maintaining power distribution across the planetary network. The merged technologies functioned in perfect synchronization, demonstrating the successful integration of human and Caitian engineering throughout the expanded defense grid. The defense network's sensors pulsed with new activity as 5 Modernist capital ships emerged from quantum space, their escort vessels spreading into practiced formations around the transformed orbital platforms. Simpson tracked their approach through the crystalline interface, noting the precise, calculated movements that spoke of extensive military training. Multiple weapons systems charging across the Modernist fleet, Vex transmitted, his displays highlighting critical data points. Energy signatures consistent with quantum-enhanced plasma arrays. Commander Rax activated the upgraded orbital grid with a neural command. Crystalline barriers shimmered into existence around vital installations, while maintaining clear approach vectors toward the docking facilities. Defense field generators operating at optimal efficiency. Containment protocols active. The transformed platforms generated stabilization fields that encompassed the Modernist vessel's weapon discharge zones. Through the control facility's enhanced sensors, Simpson observed the fields absorbing and redistributing excess energy without disrupting ship operations. Interface module installation complete on primary docking stations, Koros transmitted. Engineering teams moved with practiced efficiency, securing hybrid components at key junctions. Modified healing crystal arrays in position. Ready for diplomatic protocols. Vex's attention shifted to incoming data streams, detecting specialized quantum signatures from two vessels near the flagship. Energy patterns matched Science Council transport configurations. Nova's medical displays highlighted the readings. Confirmed. Biosignatures indicate high-level council representatives aboard both ships. Her fingers moved across transformed controls, adjusting monitoring parameters, implementing enhanced security protocols for diplomatic contact. Through their shared interface, Simpson and Thax activated demonstration zones within the transformed sections. Crystalline displays illuminated, showcasing successful integration of human quantum technology with Cation engineering. Power flowed seamlessly through hybrid systems, maintaining perfect stability despite unprecedented output levels. Archive protocols located, Lyra transmitted from her station, initiating diplomatic communication arrays. Ancient systems hummed to life, generating interface points that synchronized with Modernist equipment. Translation matrices active. The enhanced warriors spread through orbital installations, their evolved capabilities amplified by hybrid combat systems. Colonel Jerx's drones maintained constant surveillance, feeding tactical data through secured channels. Incoming transmission, Vex reported. Recognition codes detected. Simpson accessed the ancient database through his crystal interface. The codes aligned perfectly with archived patterns, identifying the flagship's commander. Archive Master Kellax, he transmitted to the command staff. Senior Science Council member, Technological Advancement Advocate. Preparing specialized reception facilities, Koros directed his teams. Converting Docking Bay 7 for high-level diplomatic contact. Engineering crews activated hybrid life support systems, adjusting environmental controls to Modernist specifications. The transformed orbital network continued expanding as manufacturing systems produced new components. Crystalline computers coordinated power distribution, maintaining optimal efficiency across all installations. Each completed section demonstrated the successful merger of technologies, providing visible evidence of controlled evolution's benefits. Modernist flagship adjusting course, Jerx transmitted, approaching designated docking coordinates. His drone network tracked the vessel's movement while monitoring the escort fleet's positions. Secondary vessels maintaining defensive formations. Simpson directed power through the diplomatic reception systems, noting the perfect integration of hybrid interfaces. Through the crystal network, he sensed the Modernist ship's cautious approach, its quantum drives pulsing in precise patterns that matched archived protocols. The ancient facilities systems responded automatically, establishing secure communication channels calibrated for official contact. The transformed orbital platforms continued their measured operation, each system demonstrating flawless coordination through the crystalline grid. As the Modernist flagship aligned with the docking interface, Simpson prepared to initiate first contact procedures with the Science Council representatives, knowing the next few moments would demonstrate the full capabilities of their evolved technology. The Modernist flagship's quantum drives pulsed one final time as it achieved perfect alignment with the docking interface. Crystal-enhanced targeting arrays guided the massive vessel into position, while stabilization fields compensated for minor gravitational fluctuations. Through the control facility's sensors, Simpson observed the precision maneuvering with approval. Docking sequence complete, Vex transmitted. Interface modules registering full compatibility with Modernist systems. Archive Master Kelex's vessel settled into the transformed berth as specialized connection ports extended from the orbital platform. Engineering teams monitored power levels as hybrid systems synchronized with the flagship's conventional technology. Crystal matrices pulsed with stored energy, ready to begin the demonstration sequence. Simpson directed his attention to the diplomatic reception area, where Commander Rax's enhanced warriors took position. Their evolved capabilities merged seamlessly with transformed equipment, crystal-enhanced armor plates shifting to optimal defensive configurations. Automated security drones maintained precise patrol patterns under Colonel Jerx's supervision. The airlock cycled, revealing Archive Master Kellex flanked by Science Council representatives. Their ceremonial robes contrasted with the crystalline architecture of the transformed section. Nova's medical sensors tracked subtle biological responses as the delegation entered the hybrid environment. "Welcome to Installation 7, Simpson transmitted through the translation matrix. "We have prepared several demonstrations of successfully merged technologies." Kellex's cybernetic eyes analyzed the surrounding crystal structures. "Fascinating. The power signature readings exceed our theoretical models by several orders of magnitude." Head engineer Koros activated the first demonstration unit. A hovering crystal array projected detailed schematics of enhanced weapon systems, shield generators, and power distribution networks. "We've achieved perfect stability through controlled transformation of existing technology." The delegation moved through the reception area as Commander Rax initiated the defense demonstration. Transformed platforms activated in sequence, each system displaying unprecedented accuracy and power output. Kellex's technical staff recorded extensive data as hybrid weapon arrays engaged holographic targets with perfect precision. "Most impressive," one of the Science Council members noted. "The energy efficiency ratings surpass our most advanced developments." Nova approached with medical data displayed on a crystal tablet. "We've documented controlled evolution among security personnel exposed to transformed environments. The modifications enhance natural capabilities while maintaining psychological stability." Kellex examined the biological data with evident interest. "These adaptation rates correlate with our theoretical models for optimal enhancement. You've solved the stability issues that plagued our early experiments." Through the crystal network, Simpson detected 12 new quantum signatures approaching from neighboring systems. Additional Modernist fleets responding to reports of successful transformation. The ancient facility's manufacturing systems accelerated production of interface components in preparation for large-scale integration. "Your flagship's power core appears compatible with our hybrid systems," Koros transmitted. "With your permission, we can demonstrate direct transformation of critical systems." Kellex consulted briefly with his technical staff before nodding. "Proceed. Our sensors will monitor the conversion process." Engineering teams moved efficiently through selected sections of the Modernist vessel, applying modified healing crystals to key components. The transformation spread in controlled patterns, upgrading systems while maintaining full functionality. Power output levels rose steadily as hybrid technology took hold. In the southern continent, Master Architect Lyra accessed newly discovered manufacturing facilities through the Crystal Network. Massive production lines activated, beginning assembly of components needed for civilian infrastructure conversion. The ancient complex hummed with increasing activity as automated systems resumed operations after millennia of dormancy. Flagship transformation complete, Koros reported. All systems operating at enhanced capacity. Kellax's technical staff analyzed the improved performance metrics with evident amazement. The vessel's quantum drives now generated 30% more power while consuming less fuel. Weapon accuracy increased by similar margins across all systems. Through their shared interface, Simpson and Thax coordinated orbital defense expansion as the approaching fleets drew closer. The transformed platforms extended their effective range, ready to safely guide additional vessels through the integration process. Manufacturing systems maintained steady production of interface modules calibrated for multiple ship classes. Nova's medical displays highlighted spreading transformation among Kellax's security detail. The controlled evolution matched patterns observed in military personnel, providing real-time validation of their enhancement protocols. Each activated gene sequence produced predictable improvements in physical capability. Crystalline computers processed streams of incoming data as the diplomatic demonstration continued. Simpson directed power through expanding defense grids while monitoring the approaching fleets through enhanced sensor arrays. The ancient facilities systems responded smoothly to increasing demands, manufacturing components needed for full-scale integration of modernist technology. Kellax studied the transformed systems with increasing interest as data continued flowing through the hybrid interfaces. These results validate centuries of theoretical research. Your success with controlled evolution presents unprecedented opportunities. Through the Crystal Network, Simpson detected the first vessels from the approaching modernist fleets entering sensor range. Additional diplomatic contacts incoming. 12 fleet groups moving to predetermined coordinates. Expanding transformation zones, Commander Rax transmitted, directing enhanced warriors to newly activated orbital platforms. Crystal barriers shimmed into position around each designated conversion area as engineering teams established power distribution networks. The southern continent's manufacturing complex roared to life, ancient machinery resuming production after millennia of dormancy. Master Architect Lyra's status updates flowed through the network as assembly lines activated in sequence. Processing raw materials for interface components. Manufacturing capacity at maximum sustainable output. Lieutenant Commander Vex's fingers danced across transformed control surfaces. Archive search protocols located additional data repositories. His eyes widened as encrypted files decoded. Command, accessing extensive documentation of planned Cation evolutionary path. Nova moved to his station, crystal tablet displaying biological data. Cross-referencing genetic markers with observed transformation patterns. She highlighted matching sequences. The modifications were seeing their pre-programmed. Our quantum technology acts as a catalyst. The first modernist vessels entered designated transformation zones as Koros coordinated engineering teams. Modified healing crystals merged with conventional systems, spreading controlled evolution through each ship's infrastructure. Power readings spiked before stabilizing at enhanced levels. Remarkable efficiency, one of Kellax's technical staff noted, analyzing the conversion process. Complete integration without disrupting core functionality. Colonel Jerx's drone networks maintained precise surveillance as additional fleets approached. Security teams deploying to civilian centers, establishing controlled evolution protocols for population integration. Through their shared interface, Simpson observed Thax directing power through expanding defense grids. Crystalline computers process streams of tactical data, coordinating fleet movements with mathematical precision. Each successfully transformed vessel strengthened the orbital network. Deep beneath the capital city, Lyra accessed a massive control node. Ancient displays illuminated, revealing schematics for planetary defense systems. Activating underground facilities. Beginning urban infrastructure conversion. The transformation spread through military installations as enhanced warriors established training centers. Specialized adaptations emerged combat units, developed improved tactical capabilities, while engineering teams showed unprecedented system integration skills. Nova's medical data documented each evolutionary branch. Manufacturing protocols accessed, Coros transmitted from the Southern Complex. Beginning production of hybrid vessel designs. Assembly lines reconfigured, combining human quantum technology with Caitian engineering. The first prototype ship took shape, its crystal-enhanced systems demonstrating capabilities that exceeded all previous benchmarks. Kellex reviewed the performance data with evident satisfaction. Proceed with full production. These vessels will form the foundation of our modernized defense fleet. Through the orbital network, Simpson monitored the steady transformation of civilian infrastructure. Power distribution centers hummed with increased efficiency as crystal technology spread through transportation and communication systems. Population centers reported tangible improvements in essential services. Planetary defense grid online, Lyra transmitted. Atmospheric processors operating at enhanced capacity. Underground facilities activated in sequence, their ancient systems smoothly integrating with modern technology. Nova's displays tracked spreading transformation among the population. Genetic modifications adapting to specialized roles. Military units show tactical enhancement, while technical teams develop improved integration capabilities. The first hybrid vessel completed its maiden flight, quantum drives pulsing with unprecedented power, as crystal weapons tracked targets with perfect accuracy. Through the control facility's sensors, Simpson observed its flawless performance while manufacturing systems began production of additional ships. Half of major installations successfully converted, facts transmitted through their shared interface. Transformation spreading at calculated rates through remaining sectors. His attention shifted to incoming data as more modernist vessels entered orbital range, ready to join the expanding network of hybrid technology. Simpson monitored the final wave of modernist vessels through the crystalline interface as transformation protocols reached completion. The network's quantum pathways pulsed with increasing intensity, ancient systems achieving perfect synchronization across every converted installation. Integration metrics at maximum, facts transmitted. Ready to activate master protocol. Simpson's fingers traced precise patterns across the control facility's transformed surfaces. Crystal matrices responded instantly, channeling power through planetary and orbital grids. The network blazed to life, merging thousands of hybrid systems into a single unified whole. In the capital city's central plaza, crowds gathered beneath towering crystalline spires. The High Council Assembly Hall gleamed with transformed architecture as Archive Master Kellex approached the raised platform. He carried an intricate crown forged in the Southern Manufacturing Complex, its faceted surfaces refracting sunlight in complex patterns. The ancient text spoke of this moment, Kellex announced, his cybernetic eyes scanning the assembled dignitaries. When our civilization would achieve its next evolution through the guidance of an outsider who became one of our own. Simpson stood motionless as Kellex placed the crown upon his head. Crystal interfaces merged seamlessly with his hybrid biology, connecting him directly to the planetary defense grid. Data streams flooded his consciousness as thousands of transformed systems came under his control. Above the city, Commander Rax coordinated the first demonstration of the hybrid fleet. Transformed vessels moved in perfect formation, their quantum drives pulsing with controlled power. Crystal weapons tracked targets with microsecond precision while maintaining minimal energy signatures. Power efficiency at 130% of theoretical maximum, head engineer Koros transmitted from the flagship's bridge. All systems showing perfect stability. The southern manufacturing complex hummed with activity as production lines reached optimal capacity. Ancient machinery merged with modern technology assembled new hybrid vessels at unprecedented rates. Through the crystal network, Simpson observed master architect Lyra directing automated systems with mathematical precision. Nova's medical displays tracked the final phase of controlled evolution throughout the population. Genetic modifications fully stabilized, she reported. Each specialized adaptation maintains core identity while optimizing natural capabilities. In the military command center, Colonel Jerx's enhanced warriors established new tactical divisions. Drone networks synchronized with hybrid troops, creating integrated defense patterns that adapted instantly to potential threats. Training simulations demonstrated unprecedented coordination between conventional and evolved units. Lieutenant Commander Vex's analysis screens filled with decoded data from the ancient archives. Confirmation of original evolutionary program parameters, he transmitted. Current transformation matches intended development path with 99.9% accuracy. Simpson directed power through the orbital platforms as the first hybrid exploration fleet prepared for launch. Transformed vessels gleamed against the star field, their crystal-enhanced hulls housing merged technology that exceeded all previous performance metrics. Through their shared interface, Thax coordinated final system checks as the exploration fleet moved into position. All vessels report ready, awaiting your command. From his position in the control facility's main chamber, Simpson activated the launch sequence. Quantum drives engaged in perfect sequence, propelling the hybrid ships toward unexplored regions of space. The ancient defense grid maintained stable power distribution as vessels accelerated beyond conventional detection range. Nova approached with a crystal tablet displaying new evolution protocols. Initial diplomatic contact packages prepared for potential allied species. Medical data confirms safe adaptation parameters. The Crown interfaced smoothly with Simpson's hybrid systems as he reviewed upcoming mission profiles. Through the transformed network, he monitored thousands of planetary and orbital installations operating in perfect harmony. Each system contributed its optimized capabilities to their merged civilizations' expanding presence in space. Thax's calculations projected optimal contact routes through neighboring systems, while tactical displays tracked the exploration fleet's progress. The ancient facility's computers processed streams of survey data, identifying promising candidates for future diplomatic missions. Crystal barriers shimmered around the capital city as Simpson coordinated defense grid updates with Commander Rax. Enhanced warriors maintained precise patrol patterns, while hybrid vessels executed calculated maneuvers through transformed space. Their merged civilization stood ready to share the benefits of controlled evolution with others who might choose to join them on their path toward advancement.